last time on Dungeons and Dragons. The party had recently procured the hand and eye of Vecna and attached them to Roku. As they did so, he snapped his fingers and wished for Ferris, their recently fallen friend, to come back. Ferris did make his return, and eventually they sort of welcomed him back. Ferris was a little off due to his traumatic events that transpired, and Nikolai was trying to make his way in home to rather out-of-place people at the moment. But as the slavers made their way as you retreated, they attacked you, and besides killing all of those that had previously killed Nikolai's friends, you as well convinced a slave to take the boat and go back to Sko-Tua now that he is free. Upon this, you repaired damages to the ship. Gronk figured out that there is a magical relic that can remove the hand and eye without killing Roku. But did not find any specifics further. The knife was given back to Sweetie. And then we were shown a large Poseidon-esque god descending upon the ship, which I forgot to mention, but Roku immediately saw through the whole time, discerning it as an illusion. And as he did, he revealed himself to truly be Rick Juergens, the cloud giant teacher of Nikolai's Wolkenfaust technique and all of the runic magic that lies within Ferris. And he offered to take you back to his cloud keep, where you found the chamber of self-actualization. And as you went through it, you all talked to somebody who's important in your life. All coincidentally, parents who in one way were absent, were wrong to you, were dead. And as you did, some of you left happier, some of you left sadder, but all of you left with a lesson learned. As you did, you said your final farewells to Ferris. It was a touching moment, as Ferris and Ataka took Maybell, the griffin, off on their own. You all got on to the remaining two griffins and flew back down to Captain Enigma's and Captain Cooper's ship. That is where we will start this evening, as you hear the unison land of the griffins, and as you do, your whole body's like jolt for a second. You now realize that the atmosphere here is significantly less cold, and it is easier to breathe, as you were just in the sky by many, many feet. You don't know, but sneeze.
Garrick, I have a bit of a housekeeping question for you.
Okay.
It's something that I totally should have taken notes about last session, but due to the emotional impact of the moment, it didn't occur to me. The name of the Death Squad group of marauders that I was warned about. What are they called?
The Death Squad party of murderers is called the Rising Sun Company.
Okay.
They call themselves, or at
least...
they
were led by Dante?
A man named Dante.
Dante.
Rick called him power hungry, and his group seemed to idolize him a bit.
The Rising Sun, is that the name of the boat from Brighton?
Roll a history check.
Because I have that written down in my notes, and I'm pretty sure that's what that is. History check.
I was going to say, Rising Sun sounds really familiar.
History, I got a 14.
Close. It was actually called the Naked Sun.
Yep. Okay.
Which I don't know how I remembered the obscure title of a boat way in the previous interlude to the campaign, but
yeah. Okay. Never mind.
So not related. You'd assume
they are not like they probably are related.
Yeah, they both have sun in their title.
Okay.
If they were both the Rising Sun, you either A, would assume they're related, or B, your DM has run out of ideas. But, alas, there is more names than previously.
And
any other...
has the name Dante come up?
In Since when?
I don't know, because, like, it sounded familiar. If you want to tell me, hey, like, go fuck yourself, you should be taking better notes, feel free to.
First
Because,
of
like,
all,
that name feels familiar.
First of all, hey, fuck you, take better notes. Just kidding. The name Dante may have been stated before, but you figure it's a common name as well.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
I'm kind of piggybacking on the 14 history check from before. It just
Mhm.
kind of, if you have heard it before, you don't relate it to any significance of a roaming death squad.
All right, cool beans. Because, like, I took notes very haphazardly before, and I only just fairly recently started organizing them in, like, an actual notebook. But, like, my OG notes, which contains the Naked Sun, were taken in my physics notebook. So there's, like, stuff here, and I just don't know if, like, something was lost in the middle. Anyway, sorry about all that. Thank you very much. We can get back to doing actual things now.
While we're on that track, does anyone have any other questions of things they just genuinely do not remember? All right. Then we shall embark as you land back on the ship. Enigma and Cooper both kind of looking around nervously for any more ambush attacks from slavers as they turn to you. Oh, you're back.
Yes, we are. That was...
One of the creatures came back for Ataka and Ferris's bags. We said our goodbyes to the Griffin, but just wasn't the same. So they're gone now, those two?
Yeah, off to brighter and better things.
I hope so. But where are we off to?
We were originally planning on going to Trust, but after escaping those slavers and seeing how thoroughly we destroyed them, the only threat on that island might have been 70.
I think it would be a good idea to go back and see if they freed themselves, or how all those slaves are doing now that their leadership is gone.
And if there's...
I do agree that returning is of utmost importance, and I can't believe I'm the one saying this, and I turn and look at Roku specifically in his hand area. We may have more pressing matters to attend to.
Oh, that friend of yours said it was an announcement was near Tailwind.
Yes, that is what he said.
That's a ways away from here anyways.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, gentlemen, but if you recall our deal, I'm already 2 days over schedule. I won't always be here to ferry you all around.
Sweetie, I believe it is. You said you came into a large sum of gold, yes?
Yeah.
Would it perhaps be enough for us to purchase our own ship? I am myself a capable helmsman.
I don't really know the price of ships nowadays, but I have about $6,000, and I'm pretty sure Roku over there had another hefty sum of like 4,000.
I'm going to kind of look over to Roku for like confirmation. Like, I think maybe so.
That goal is for the Sko-Tuans to arm themselves.
There's not really much need to arm themselves anymore if we go back there and take out the rest of the...
What if someone else comes in and tries to take over?
That's a good point.
Well, I think we took out many of the important figures, and those people might not know how to run everything properly, so they might be able to just take them over pretty easily.
I think perhaps that we could look at the price of ships and if it's even a viable option for us. And if it is, then that should be a course of action that we take, because without transportation, freeing the slaves is not an option at all, because we have no way to ferry ourselves to and from Sko-Tua. But So I think finding a ship should be our first priority, and anything that is left can be used to arm the slaves. However, additionally, to my knowledge, the slaves do have the means of fighting with lethal intent. It's merely a matter of willingness.
Well, we could see if there's any ships for sale in trust.
Enigma, I have been out of the sailing business for some time, as you are, I'm sure, quite aware. Do you know how much we could get a ship for these days?
This isn't accurate prices, but I got mine for 6,000. But it was almost beyond repairable damage, but we made it work, obviously. I think a sailing ship these days would cost you around 10,000, which you
alternatively, do you, and this is a higher risk reward scenario, but do you know of anybody in these local waters that would do well to be relieved of their ship? Some pirates, additional slavers, perhaps?
Wait. Weren't we just at the slave camp? What if we just relieved some more slaves of slavery and took one of their ships?
Well, I don't know that Sko-Tua has any additional vessels. The Minotaur that was on the ship that we just fought, he took the one that I knew of.
Well, if he's going back there, why don't we just take the ship when it's empty?
I promised it to him. That ship in return for my life.
I know a man.
What?
He can get us discounted ships.
Yes?
He's not the most favorable man, but he can make it work.
I've had my fair share of experience with unfavorable men. I'm sure he's nothing I can't handle. Speaking for myself.
Where is this man?
The waterfront, north of here slightly. He runs a... How well do you attempt to function within the confines of the law?
Well, you know me. And we'll kind of like pat my coat a little bit.
Will you roll a history check, sweetie?
History. Ooh, that's a 3 plus something, so I'm guessing no. That's a 4.
You don't remember who she's speaking of when she's referencing this. He runs a counterfeiting business, gold. And
this breaking of the law, does it put any lives at risk? Are we hurting anyone?
Only if you double cross him.
Alrighty then.
Don't underestimate the man. He's rather silly in his proceedings, but he's dangerous when you get down to it.
As long as no innocent are hurt, I have no quarrel.
Could we get say discount with a little bit something special? And we'll pat my coat again.
He has no interest in drug running, trust me. It's all counterfeit to him.
Okay.
So would this man be providing? He would be providing gold, or he would be providing the ship itself?
Well, drug running is not his trade. He does have vessels in which to move people from one place to another, and shipments and whatnot. My guess is he's got one used or stolen that he'd be willing to pawn off, but for a price.
All right. Seems easy enough.
Can we trust this man, or is this a dangerous endeavor we're getting involved in? Because I mean, we do have the gold to, as you say, probably purchase a ship.
Trusting him is up to you.
With I mean, if we combine what Jorgens gave to all of you, we have just over 10,000. That is, of course, if you, Roku, are willing to part with your share as well.
I wish to fund for the Sko-Tuans to have weapons, real weapons.
Would you be able to give up the money if we went back and see it or saw if they were free, or read them while the government is low?
Just because they may be free now does not mean they'll be free forever.
Well, what if we went back over there and, I don't know, established a better government and that they could do with?
And how do you enforce it with no weapons?
So
there.
How many days is it to this waterfront man that you spoke of?
Maybe 3. It's where we were headed after this. But then,
how many on foot from Sko-Tua?
I'm not the travel on foot type of gal.
I say, this is just me spitballing, I guess, but go to Sko-Tua. Do what we can to free them. And then we can travel on foot from there to the waterfront up north. Purchase what needs to be purchased. And carry on. Are you sure, Roku, that we won't be able to do this without purchasing weapons to arm them first?
I will give you half of my share, and the other half goes towards weapons.
Okay. My only issue is if we take time to arm them, then that's more time that the Sko-Tuan government has to recollect itself.
And they'll have a tougher time if they're armed.
I think expediency is to our benefit here. So perhaps go to Sko-Tua, do what we can, and come back and arm them later as a precautionary measure for the future. But I mean, that many weapons could take weeks, maybe even months to gather.
Well,
Best we get the order in now.
if we can clean them, there was a basement filled with lots of weapons.
Well, what do you?
Yeah, that guy 70 had whips out the ass. Why don't we just give him some of those? They already have like 50 more whips, sticks, whatever they want. They're already just in his basement. Nikolai, you should know out better than anyone.
Whips and daggers are not good against armor.
I'm not sure that those are instruments of torture, not warfare. They were made to specifically to cause pain, but keep the subject alive. Not to mention, if I can at all avoid going back there, I will.
Even if it meant freeing everyone else?
I'm not, if that were the case, then I would be willing, but I'm saying what we'll find down there won't be enough. It's not the proper equipment. Like trying to cut steak with a butter knife. I guess it's possible, but not really.
Well, it's worth a shot. And if there's any forms of weapons, if it's meant to keep people alive or just harm them, or even if they're meant to completely kill them, that's still more defenses they have to free themselves from any upcoming dangers.
there could also be other weapons in Sko-Tua somewhere.
That's a pretty big if. I mean, I'm not saying there probably aren't. In fact, there probably are, but we don't know where, we don't know how many, we don't know the quality, we don't know the type of weaponry. I mean, they'll need spears and swords if we're going to enforce a military uprising.
Wait, do you think there might be a big warehouse full of everything that... Well, okay, so Roku, he was going to sell himself into slavery. Yeah, newsflash, but he was going to do that, and he brought all his stuff with him. So they were probably going to take it from him at some point. So somewhere in Sko-Tua, they have to have a big warehouse full of everyone's belongings. And I'm guessing most days people carry daggers, swords, whatever, armor. I bet they probably somewhere have...
Nikolai,
again, we don't know. Yeah. Yes.
Funny you say that. You remember specifically being stripped of your weapons, armor, and equipment before you got in prison.
But do I know where they were taken?
You don't, I guess.
Okay, that was my next point I was going to make. We don't know where. Like, that is a good point. That facility most certainly exists, but we don't know where, and we don't exactly have the time or means to search the entire city, country, plantation, the thing of Sko-Tua. Our biggest problem as far as arming the city's citizens is expediency. We need to do so quickly. But I'm not sure that... I'm not sure it can be done, but I don't know how, or how effectively, or how quickly.
Or
trust getting an order set and made for a lot of people would take probably about a few weeks, maybe a month.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have time. So my proposal was go to Sko-Tua, topple whomever needs to be toppled, and then arm the citizens as soon as possible as a precautionary measure for the future. But I'm not sure that we'll be able to arm them for this fight quickly enough.
Well, we first need a ship.
Another point.
Exactly.
And if we have a ship, then we can't afford to arm them as well.
Well, there already is a ship going probably straight back to Sko-Tua. And it was a little bit bigger than this one, so it could probably carry, I don't know, 100, 200 slaves. Yeah, I bet that could free up.
That ship is not ours.
Well, I bet that guy wants to free the slaves just as much as any other slave there. So if we were able to come in contact with that guy, I bet he would go back and we could just load that ship up with these guys, and then he can go free them off in Trusk or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm open to that idea. However,
also
we don't know where he's going, where he's gone, how long he's been. He could be anywhere by now. He's sailed in any direction other than ours for 2 days, day and a half.
Also, just dumping a lot of people somewhere isn't going to solve any problems.
Well, I don't think the plan was ever to dump people anywhere. It was to bring weapons to Sko-Tua, and then after they're armed and free, it's up to them what they wish to do.
Well,
so we get a ship, and we place an order for weapons, and then we go back to Sko-Tua.
You guys up here figure this out. I got my own little thing I need to go do, and I'm going to kind of wander back downstairs to Gronk's room.
All right, you wander back downstairs, and as you do, Enigma says, "We need to make this decision fast. We're running out of time to spare."
I mean, you could always start making your way back towards the waterfront. It sounds like Sko-Tua is relatively on the way, so that'll give us at least a day to make a decision.
Will do. She walks up to the captain's spot and immediately just...
Where's Cooper right now?
Cooper is presumably napping somewhere.
Okay.
He's hasn't made any noise, which he besides his talking, he usually just makes odd grunts and groans as he stares out into the sea. The grubby Buckets and Cooper are all absent from the helm.
Strange. Okay, Roku is going to go to his room.
Oh, we're just breaking decisioning.
Oh, okay, never mind. Let's make the decision first. I kind of forgot about that whole entire thing.
Yeah, I think it's very important to decide our plan of action.
Roku, you were a forgeman in Trusk, yes? Am I correct in recalling that? I'm assuming it came up in conversation at some point, even though I don't really know that, but like I know that, so it's complicated. But
yes.
How long do you think it would take to get that many weapons ready, even if it was as simple as spears?
Nicholas, how long do I think it takes?
Roll a d20, add your proficiency modifier because of your smithing tools.
22.
Ooh.
You know that Trusk happens to have a lot of weapons at the ready. They keep a lot stored, but depending on what you want, welcome Gronk to the call. Depending on what you want, this could take anywhere from probably a week to a month. You could, depending on how much gold you shove in their face, 3 days is the bare minimum you think it would take.
And that's not including transport from Trusk to,
Yes.
and that's an additional 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we can hear you, Gerald.
Gerald.
We're discussing our next plan of it. Yeah, we can hear you.
You're good.
Yes.
You're good.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, let me figure out why I can't hear you.
Are your headphones plugged in?
Got it.
Can't
Figured it out.
Hear you.
There's some problems with the settings.
Okay. Well, back to it.
Idiot.
You figure if, considering your smithing expertise, if you were to go back and help, that would make things more expedient. Whereas if you paid more workers to help, Gronk, if he helped as well, that's pumping out an extra however many per day, and depending on how much you need, would make it more expedient. But you think that with the maximum amount of bribing you can talk to Dench and pull a couple of favors, you can get 3 days, due to what I've heard you guys reference on numbers before.
My numbers or our numbers?
You guys talked about how many weapons to get before in like passing. You guys talked about let's get a bunch of short swords, and like from what I recall, that's the number. It seems to be mine. But do you have an exact number of weapons you would like to get?
Do we know how many slaves, able-bodied slaves there are?
You do not.
We guesstimated like around 500 people, I think.
I'm pretty certain
Like
that
400
is
or
what it
500
was as well.
I personally think spears are probably option numero uno because they're easy to use, super effective, and cheap and quick to make.
Gronk, you are on the top ship as you join your friends in a debate on where to go next. Debating on whether they should go to Sko-Tua first and get things managed there, order weapons first and get things there, or go to a man that Enigma knows in the waterfront to get you guys a ship for as cheap as possible.
Oh, she's tired of ferrying us around.
No, if you guys recall,
it's not economically viable for her to do so.
Yeah, she's on a shipment. Like she passed off the shipment onto another ship in Trusk, and that's what the cost from all you guys was for, to get ferried down here, and she has to go now. Like she's already 2 days behind, is what she said.
Yeah,
Well,
we have to.
Right, logically speaking, I think we should get a hold of our own boat first, and then.
The only issue with, and I might agree with you, but another thing to keep in mind is the people of Sko-Tua are, if we're going to free them, now is the time, because their governing body is in disarray. And I think the quicker we act, we should be able to take advantage of the chaos before they have time to reorganize. Whether that means sending ourselves in as a strike team or arming the citizens themselves so they can fight, doing both in one order or the other. That's what this discussion is about.
Right. Gronk thinks that before we can even handle any of that, we really need a ship, especially unless Enigma is willing to ferry us around that whole time.
She's not.
We've talked about some.
We're going to ignore that.
Then that puts getting a boat number one. But number two, I'll admit, is the important debate to have.
The issue with getting a boat is that costs lots of gold, and if we spend lots of gold on boat, that's less gold we have for weapons.
Well,
okay.
I mentioned you could get a sailing ship for 10,000. Could probably get a keelboat for 5. It's not much, but it's my guess.
They're not very fast though.
A bit small for you guys.
I mean, you said the friend of yours would give us a discount, correct?
The 5,000 is the discount.
I believe that if we get a discounted ship, our options may be more limited as far as what we acquire. She said that if he happens to have a used or stolen one to spare, we may not get the pick of the litter, so to speak.
Right. So getting a boat is still important because otherwise we can't ferry weapons to slaves.
Right.
We can't even ferry ourselves to Sko-Tua.
Well, the waterfront and Sko-Tua are only a day's sail apart, so maybe 2-3 days hard walk. Assuming, I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at the map for a sec because I don't remember the shape of the continent.
You mentioned Enigma mentioned 2 to 3 days on from Sko-Tua to the waterfront, and at this
it was 2 to 3. I thought it was 1. I totally misremembered.
And from the looks of it, it looks to be sort of a hard jaunt. As you can kind of just like scoop around the side from Sko-Tua to the waterfront, but then you have to like go, and it's by a large body of water and across major rivers. So the land, while viable, is strenuous as compared to the ship.
So, there's a lot of possibilities here. Do we want to go and make an order and get them weapons first, or do you want to go take out the people who are currently in charge first? Or do you want to get a boat first?
Right. I personally think we should get a boat. Simplifies things, and then in the long run, I think that pays off more. That being said, I think it's an important discussion to have whether we're going to go strike team, because then we don't even need to buy more weapons.
Yes. I mean, if we do this, if it's just us that does the toppling, we would need to purchase weapons to prevent anybody from enslaving them again. We need to arm them no matter what. They need to be able to defend themselves. Personally, I think our best strategy would be to go to Sko-Tua, free them, like, take out whoever needs to be taken out, kill the bastards. Make our way on foot to the waterfront, but before we leave, send word to Trusk to get the weapons made. So the weapons are being made while we travel on foot to the waterfront to get a boat. And then once we have our boat, go to Trusk and return to Sko-Tua. At least that way, by going in and taking out whoever need to be taken out ourselves, we're buying them some time before we can arm them.
Right, Nikolai, you know better than anybody else. What do the guards have for weapons? Like, outside of what they carry?
If anything, you would know better than I. I was kept
In
secret.
fact, you would know better than Nikolai, as he's been kept in a hole for several months.
Yeah, and there's the one under the jet.
From what you've seen, if it's they all carry a crossbow and those special whips. And the whips, as you guys mentioned, aren't good for armor. While that is true, it is hard against metal plate. When against bare flesh, it seems to be more than just a painful attack. It's meant for intense combat, but you do agree that against well armored people, it would be a little risky. But yes, all the main guards carried those 3-pronged metal whips.
I guess maybe I'd say the best metric for what we have, as far as what our opponents will be armed with, would be what we saw on the ship yesterday. That's probably about their standard loadout. Oh, Gerald has to lie to his dad again.
You know for a fact he was supposed to be doing homework.
Wait, especially since it's like an unplanned night.
Sorry, what was that, Dave?
Can we flip over to me then? Because
we certainly could. I was hoping to make the decision first, and I was going to cut to you. But
yeah,
seem to have someone missing. We sink below the floors of the ship, and Sweetie is currently sitting on Grog's bed.
Actually, how I want to play for this is, as I'm walking down into the room, I'd like to, I know this isn't how the spell works, this is how I want to flavor it. I would like to I'd like to cast Commune on the dagger. But as soon as I open the door to Gronk's room, it's just a black void that I walk in, and the door breaks behind me.
In complete opposition to what you saw in the Chamber of Self-Actualization, the door opens, and you see just a void of nothingness. And there are remnants of something in the distance, that sort of cosmic sort of pattern that moves, but you can't make anything out in specific. And as you walk in, you shut the door, and you are now completely immersed in this warm darkness that takes over you, as you can't even see your own hand in front of your face, but you can feel the dagger there.
Hi, Mr. Vecna, sir. Are you there? And yes, I'd like that to be one of my questions.
Yes, child. I am here.
So, I really want to feel important, and I've been trying to make myself better, and I think one of those ways is to fight in this war for you. But seeing that I don't really have your eye or hand like I kind of wanted to, I'd like to work for you in, like, I don't know, I want to fight this war for you.
You hear a snap, and suddenly a presence looms behind you. Do you turn around?
Yes.
You slowly pivot your head, and you see a colossal figure towering above you, standing there with an ethereal green hand, as well as an eye, radiating energy. Did you say you wish to fight me? Fight for me?
That's a bit
I want to fight. I want to fight in this God war for you. I feel it's right that no gods come onto the material plane. And like you said, I want to fight all the other gods to make sure no one can come to this plane.
So you heeded my advice, yes? I'm
Yes.
glad you listened. It doesn't seem as your orc friend has. You know, I think you rightfully deserve the eye and the hand.
I mean, it's a little late for that now, but it doesn't matter. I just want to get rid of these gods and save our world, essentially.
You feel the energy of the dagger dim as the black around you seems to dissipate into Gronk's room. But as Vecna starts to disappear into the darkness, that skeletal figure raises its hand and the room is once again encased in darkness. Now no longer on the knife's volition, but on Vecna's own. You wish for power, abilities, yes? That I can.
I mean, that'd be nice, but yeah.
You know, sweetie, you remind me a bit of myself. I am much more scholarly than you, yes, but that quest for importance, for forbidden but sweet truths. You see, when I was young, I scoured tomes for telekinetic abilities, and you seem to have a taste for that. I've seen what you've done, and I see what you can do. You dig into the people's minds. You torture them with their own inner thoughts, their own secrets. And for that, I applaud you.
Yeah, it can be fun sometimes, but I do enjoy doing that sometimes.
Take this. In his hand, a scroll appears. He holds the top of it so the bottom half unravels in front of you. And it is written in a... What languages do you speak?
Common and Halfling.
It is not written in either of those. It is written in a rather harsh and crude writing that glows and radiates black. Each letter seems like it has been cut from the page, and that same void around you is filling that space. But you know that each of these letters radiates that energy. And at the bottom, it has a small X and a line. It goes, signed.
I can't really seem to read this fine print. Can I get a nice summary? Yeah, I want to hold up. Is it like a quill or something, or like what? How am I writing this?
Oh yeah, as you raise your hand, just like the feather, already dipped in ink, appears.
Okay, and I want to like start on the cursive S as I ask like what the fine print is.
There is no secrets here. People look to me as if I am evil. And while my pursuits of glory, are not for everyone, evil is a subjective term. And with more gods approaching the planes than I view myself, for the first time, as good. And you, sweetie, as you so desperately want to, are about to do some good. Now sign your loyalty to doing good for me.
And as I'm signing, I'm going to kind of like say the letters to myself because I'm not the smartest when it comes to writing. So S W E E T I E dot.
The ink turns into that black lettering that embolds from the page as the scroll sort of unravels back into his hand. It disappears into a black flame. Good. Now your party may not approve of this, but for that, I give you a bit of ammunition. Roku is communing with gods of his own. They are the true evil ones. Remember that. You now see that Vecna has disappeared, and the sort of cosmic surroundings around you have vanished, as you are now staring into nothing but blackness. And you realize you are face first onto Gronk's bed with your face in his pillow. And as you push up, you look around the room, back to normal. But a sense of something in you has changed.
Okay. Nice. With that, I want to kind of go over to the dresser and pull out the drawers again and kind of walk up to the mirror.
They're still open in that stair formation that you kept them.
And when I look at myself in the mirror, do I see anything different from last time I looked in?
You lift up that eye, and for a moment, within the depths of your eye, you see a bit of ethereal energy sort of burn like a flame as this green sort of envelops and it goes away.
I'm going to kind of smirk and then flip the eyelid back down. And with that, I'm going to reopen the room and go back up to the main deck with everyone else.
Did I see any of this with my true sight at all?
Did you go to your room, or did you stayed up on the deck, correct?
I assumed if the conversation had closed, I would have, but I'm not sure if it did.
I don't think
we did.
The conversation ended up closing. But as Sweetie walks onto the deck, nothing different about him from what you can see.
Harold, are you back?
That would be helpful.
Also, guys, I can not right now, but I can teleport us all around, so we don't have to walk everywhere.
That changes things.
But there is an assumed side
Risk.
effect. Yes, there is an inherent risk in it, but that is not me dissuading it. I am very much willing to let roll.
So
let
if
Tom
we
roll
can,
for it.
if we can get ourselves a captain to pilot our ship when we are not on it, Captain Cooper, if he is willing.
All right. Jared, if you're talking, you're muted, so.
Yeah, Jared, you're totally muted.
I forgot to mute myself. All right, so we get magic that can make our ship able to grow or shrink at will, and we put it in a bottle.
What?
You figure that something like that is achievable in the realm of imagination.
Or I'm just going to say this is in character. Or we can get like a little turtle, and we can shrink the boat. We can put the boat on the turtle, and that turtle can follow us.
Be specific. Is that a reference to something that I'm not getting?
No, it's just.
Okay.
From the inner machinations of Sweetie's mind, he draws to vision this turtle completely on his own volition. To quote Patrick Starr, the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
I mean, I guess you can really, if you really want to call it a reference to something, you can either reference it to Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, where they have the floating island turtle in Yu-Gi-Oh, and then
That's an Avatar too.
That's
Got lion turtle.
And then in Pokemon, I forget the name of the Pokemon. It's the starter, the turtle, the little green one. Yeah, Turtwig, and then
Torterra.
Torterra. That's what I'm thinking of, where it has like the mound on its back, where it just carries an ecosystem. I mean, boats and ecosystems are a little different, but I mean,
so this means
you get the point.
This means that Gronk has officially expelled his vote from the
All right, cool.
the future plans.
He was voting against me. Yes.
They voting against you. How?
He wanted to go get a boat first. I say go to Sko-Tua first.
Yeah.
I thought we were getting a boat. Wait, are we? I'm fine with either one.
So it's either Sko-Tua, boat, weapons, boat, Sko-Tua.
Because
weapons, boat.
If she wants to drop us off at Sko-Tua and then we go get a boat, I'm totally cool with that because it's walkable, right?
Right.
Or teleport.
It is also teleportable. Yeah.
It is definitely teleportable.
I'm interested in trying because, yeah, I would.
Wait,
I would like.
what?
Probably gonna hurt very
spell
bad.
Is it? What spell is it? That one's dangerous. Like even without the hand and eye.
Yeah.
Like that's a risky move, bro.
That's better than walking places. You want to walk for like 3 days?
Yes.
That's what we did all last campaign.
Yeah, we did a lot of walking last campaign,
And
then eventually we gained the ability to kill ourselves and put ourselves in an infinite bag as our druid turned into something that could fly. But that was like
So to bring it back to the discussion at hand, do you guys have an ultimate decision?
Stop at Sko-Tua first, then you get a boat, get some weapons for them. Is everyone in agreement?
Right. I think that as soon as Sko-Tua as soon as the nasties there are dealt with, as I said, we send word to Trusk and commission those weapons, and then we get to the waterfront, either by your magical means or by foot or however. I'm not particular. As a note, if the magic is risky, we will have time to kill anyway because the weapons do need to be requisitioned. So, like, at that point, it's a matter of get to the waterfront and then go to Trusk and wait, or spend the wait time traveling more safely. Again, safely being relative because the terrain, while not inherently extremely treacherous, I'm sure is not the most. Would there be roads connecting these two major cities?
Presumably, due to the amount of intake of trade that Tua takes.
This is just my vote, but I think we should get Enigma back on her trade route because she's already helped us a lot more than anyone here. And I think if we have her back on her route and get us a boat first, I think that would be the best option.
Well, even if we return to Sko-Tua first, she could head out on her way. Sko-Tua and the waterfront are like both in line from where we are right now, right?
Sko-Tua and what?
The waterfront.
They're both like a direction. Sko-Tua obviously first, and then the waterfront
Yeah, but like Sko-Tua is not out of the way or anything.
No, she would just have to go a little closer to land at one part, and then come back around. You'd think it'd be like an hour tops added onto the travel.
Okay,
to just go in.
Like essentially, no matter what we do, she gets back on schedule as soon as possible, right? Okay.
So, either we go grab this boat, and then we keep Captain Cooper and his friends on the boat, or when we go to Sko-Tua, him and them will also have to follow us on foot all the way to waterfront.
Enigma said she is going to the waterfront, so she could just drop them off there, and they could wait for our arrival.
If he is willing.
If they are willing. Also, like I see I don't think Captain Cooper is inherently needed. It's obviously more preferable, but I mean, we could always just dock the ship somewhere when we're not using it.
Question: having the background of criminal, would I be aware of how often boats are stolen?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's roll with it. Boats are a documented license process, much like cars are in our modern day. So as boats are left unattended, they are stolen at a reasonable rate. You think the only reason you haven't been stolen is A, you guys stopped the boat for one night at a very, very busy port station. And if you recall, Roku just wandered on to a boat. And, like, Enigma just happened to say, yeah, you can be on it. If that was a criminal of some kind, wander onto a boat and take off. It's really pretty simple. Boat security is still years away from being at its peak. So pretty frequently. But you don't know how often that the man specifically will have a boat that you're looking for in your price range. Yeah.
Well, guys, I feel like we would have to have Captain Cooper, or we'd have to find someone else at least to stay with this boat, because if we just leave this boat unattended, trust me, I know they get stolen more than you think.
Right. So then, if Captain Cooper is to be in charge of our ship, if we go to Sko-Tua first, we get off at Sko-Tua. She returns to the waterfront as she is already going to do. He gets off and waits for us there, and then we travel by foot while he's waiting. Or we teleport.
I think that would be a good bet.
If he is willing.
Yes.
He will probably want pay as well.
Well, he seems fairly willing at this point to do so without pay.
I mean, we did save his life, so.
I sort of assumed he was just with you guys the whole time. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh no, we found his crazy ass on a wrecked ship. I'm gonna lean in a little bit. He kind of murdered his entire crew, but yeah, he can at least pilot, not pirate. The
He's
boat.
not on deck. You guys have no idea where Cooper is.
Has anyone seen Cooper?
I mean, I assumed he was just sleeping somewhere.
Did he jump ship?
Yeah, Enigma shouts from the captain's wheel. Yeah, actually, he usually just sleeps up on deck. I haven't seen him in a couple hours.
You friend, with your eye thingy, you can see exceptionally well, correct?
Right. I am going to attempt to find him with my seeing eye thingy.
Your X-ray vision?
Yep.
All right.
I mean, if I'm somewhere, like if I'm in a different room in the boat wanking it, he could totally just be watching me.
100%. Yeah. He could just be like, oh boy.
Oh my God.
Hey, he's finally back.
Well, would you look at that?
So did you do your homework?
Did we come to a decision?
Yes, they did.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, and this matter is already settled. No offense, Gerald, but to move things along.
No, it's okay. I wasn't gonna fight it.
Okay.
I was gone. And
at one point, I was just like, and he's officially revoked his ability to participate in this argument anymore. But it basically equates to the same amount of time either way. It's just what you do first is really what matters. Sko-Tua first. Then Enigma will go up to the waterfront and bring Cooper there. You guys free Sko-Tua as much as you possibly can. Go to the waterfront, meet her or Cooper there, or maybe not, and get a boat, say your goodbyes or whatever, or possibly recruit Cooper with you, and then go to Trusk. And all this time, we place the order ahead, I believe.
Yeah, like as soon as Sko-Tua is free of bad dudes, at least for the time being, we're gonna send a messenger hawk or something.
Wait, didn't we already do that? Didn't
no, I wrote out a message.
It was discussed, but never actually happened.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're heading to Sko-Tua first, correct?
Yes.
But besides that, the more important matter at hand is where on this ship is Captain Cooper, Grubby, and Buckets.
A note that Garrick missed in his re-explanation. It is somewhat up for debate how we get from Sko-Tua to the waterfront, we can either walk across land, or in a somewhat risky fashion, Roku can use the hand and eye to teleport us there. However, we wouldn't really be wasting all that much time by walking because we have to wait for the weapons to be made and processed anyway. So,
well, we can also go to Trusk.
It would be a good test run. You assume teleporting to
for the
Trusk
teleportation
is a lot easier than to the waterfront. You grew up in Trusk in the blacksmith shop your entire life, whereas you've heard of the waterfront.
If we go to Trusk first, then we do not have a means of transporting the weapons from Trusk.
I could go to Trusk.
And the rest of us walk to the waterfront?
Yeah. Also, we should use the hand and eye, such as teleport, as less as possible. That should be a last resort thing, just because of the very small chance that
Roku is like
I'm pretty sure it's a hand thing and not an eye thing.
It is an eye. It's a hand thing, yes.
Yeah. So the worst that happens is I take damage.
If we're gonna do that, I do like that. In character, I do like that idea. I think that you two, I point to Gronk and Roku, should go to Trusk via the hand creepy spooky zombie magic to assist in the forging. That way we don't even have to send a messenger pigeon. It's just there right away. You guys are there. Be like, hey, we need to build weapons. The rest of us walk.
Then they'll have the money right away too.
Then, we will need some money to. We will need to keep 5,000 gold. Although, so we don't have to haul 5,000 gold with us. Could the Enigma bring the money there and just have it wait for us?
Theoretically, you assume that could be
okay. And then, anyway, then the other three of us, the rest of us, walk to the waterfront, do the purchasing of the ship there, take the ship from the waterfront to Trusk to await the finishing of the weapons, and then we return to Sko-Tua, weapons galore.
All right. Now this teleporting to Trusk hypothetically takes place after Sko-Tua, correct?
After Sko-Tua, and we part ways.
So that is where we first embark. But as returning back, you glance all around the ship, and for the first time in your life, you see through solid surfaces, which is, it throws off your depth perception, and you sort of feel like you're walking on glass, but as if you were walking on glass. You're a bit hesitant on like how you step on stuff, and like you feel like it's going to break underneath you. And you glance down a floor, and you see like a top-down view of the whole bottom, or the whole second floor, which is weird looking. It shows you like the whole floor plan, each person's room, how it's organized, and then all of a sudden your vision sort of makes them dissipate, and you see Captain Cooper in his familiar form laying on the floor of the very, very bottom of the ship in a seemingly drunken stupor.
Do I see Grubby and Buckets?
They are sitting there as if lifeless and deactivated as he lies on the floor in front of them. They sort of flank both sides of him, and he's curled up in like holding the bottle in his hand, but he seems to be conscious.
Oh, he's on the bottom floor. It appears that he got a little drunk.
Oh, well, then we can approach him with this later. I would not want to interrupt the sailor with his drinking.
Perfect. We're done. And then I'm going to make my way to my room finally.
Okay. You finally walk downstairs, and as you look to the floor below you, as you think of the fact you just saw Captain Cooper down there, your eye immediately makes you see through the floor. And you have to like you eventually see the wooden floor beneath you again. As you go to open your room door, you look through the door, you see all the mechanisms of the lock putting into the wall next to you, and you like shake it off again. And it is now that you've used this, it is every like 10 seconds flashing on and off, and you cannot get it to stop. But you'll eventually figure you'll get the hang of it.
Oh boy.
That would be like seizure-inducing as reality flickers in and out of existence around you.
Imagine trying to sleep. Every once in a while, you just see through your eyelid.
See through your eyelid.
And even every once in a while, as you glance down at your hands, the skin disappears as you see the bones, ligaments, tendons, and veins all through it. And as you look on the left hand, you see these long pointed fingers, as if the tips of the bones were sharpened, and each of them connects with this, not with bones, but with this. Each bone is independent of one another, but it all connects together, not through tissue or ligaments, but through an ethereal green energy.
Ghost cartilage.
The hand reappears in its leathery, decrepit form once more.
Oh, that's more like it. All right, sweet. Can I do my thing?
Yes, you certainly can. What is your thing?
I want to craft my new weapon.
Okay. With what material?
I
Have your plates that you.
No. I took plate armor off of one of the overseers. I would like to
Pick it up the
smelt
scarecrow.
that down. Yep, and I believe it is silver, if I'm not mistaken.
The armor?
Yes.
I think it was like silver in appearance.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think it was half plate mail. So there is a bit to work with. It isn't as full as you would like it to, but luckily, it is a weapon you're looking to make, and not a piece of armor because of this. So you set out what is this miniature forging kit, and as you do, you sort of take all of this metal that you've accumulated, and you start to melt it into a malleable shape. Now, would you first describe what you are trying to make, and then you will make a blacksmithing roll?
I am making what is a half hammer and half axe. So one head is an axe. One head is all axe, and the other half is a hammer.
Like Stormbreaker.
Yes.
You got the idea from Reinhardt on Overwatch.
Not quite. I've always needed something sharp, and I have not had it. Like, for example, when I cut off my own hand, I'd use Ferris's sword.
Is that just your sword now?
It's still on the deck unless somebody else picked it up.
Okay. I would take it, but I'm no good with it.
Can I take it?
Are you
Wait, is
proficient
that
with all sorts?
It's a long sword.
is it either a simple or martial weapon?
It is a martial weapon.
Then yes, I am.
Also, I'm going to keep the same handle and just take off the head that's on there now.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes. So you take off what is formerly just a block of like a cinder block, basically, just that sort of square shape, and it's got this rough part on the edges that is used as just a giant hammer. And you sort of like eventually pry it off with all of this force, and as you melt down this armor, you attempt to form it into the shape that you wish, but without a direct mold, you find it very difficult. But I would like you to make D20 and your proficiency modifier.
I rolled a 12, so 15.
Okay. You, in your weakened state, attempt to shape this thing into what you want as you hold it up with tongs and your small smithing hammer, smaller than your maul, that is. And as you crush it into place, you hear a king, the sound of the hammer hitting. And in a similar sense, every single hit feels like your bones are just crumbling that much further as you are weakened, in a weakened state you've never been in before. And you find yourself out of breath after every hold, and you have to constantly switch the hands the tongs are held in, but you can't because the hammer doesn't fit right in Vecna's hand. So you swap again, and it is falling apart in front of you as like it sort of like starts drooping as it's starting to like lose its shape and then cool into this weird shape. And you end up basically what you can make as a salvageable hammer end, but the axe is like it's sort of like just drooped inwards. It looks kind of like a bowl, but there is like a block of this metal that is the hammer. You
Okay.
assume you'd have to try again at a later time, as this
Perfect. before I would not like to take the head off until the new head is done. Then
Okay, you with a new sense of retrospect on the world, you decide to leave the head on. A intelligent decision to prepare for the fact you may mess up this next smith, which you in fact did. Okay, and you now contain a maul, and you let your remnants of what you made cool a bit, and you are disappointed, but you think you can try again soon. But this took most of your night if you were going to do this process. This is a several-hour process I minimized. But is there anyone who would like to do anything else with their time before they get to Sko-Tua?
I have something to do with
right.
my brother Grunk. So, I was looking at his channel divinity for Forge domain, and he can make up to 10 pieces of ammunition at a time.
Okay.
Cool. So I want to go up to him with 10 silver pieces and ask him if he can turn this into arrows.
Anything for you, Hogar. And is Sweetie still in my room? Like,
Sweetie
No, I went back.
Sweetie is back on the top of the deck. You don't know where he's been. He did go under for a bit, and you don't know if he went into your room or not, but he's up here currently.
I'm gonna go into my room, lock the door. That way I don't get any unwanted visitors who are trying to sleep on my bed right now. And craft some arrows for my brother Hogar. 10. That's all I can do.
All right, arrows or out of the bolts?
Arrows from silver pieces, because I looked up in a book, and 20 arrows is 1 gold piece. And for this ability, it's weird because you need its amount of materials in gold piece form.
You talking about my channel divinity?
Yeah, isn't it?
Things you create can be something that is worth no more than 100 gold pieces. As a part of this ritual, you must lay out the metal, which can include coins, with a value equal to the creation. I mean, if I have enough material, I can, but
I'm just still confused as to what you're trying to make here.
He's taking silver coins and turning them into silver arrowheads, so he's got silver weapons.
Gotcha. That is a more complicated process because silvering an arrow is what it would cost is like it takes into term of the labor and the magical influences of it. So it would be harder than just laying out silver pieces.
I see.
But as you compare silver pieces to the crossbow bolts you found, they seem to match in consistency and feel. And you assume that this man was rather superstitious as he carried around silver arrow bolts. Silver crossbow bolts.
Remember, this is already established by Garrick that I can spend 1 channel divinity to create 1.
Oh, if you aren't using that channel divinity for anything else, then I would quite appreciate it if I could have 1 silver arrow. At least.
I can do that.
For emergencies.
In the future, send me the math on Snapchat or something, and then we'll think of it. We'll put it all together ahead of time because I'm not 100% on how this ability works. But for the
I didn't know silver arrows had a separate price.
It's the process of silvering an arrow isn't the due to you being a monster hunter, yeah, literally a monster hunter. You know that silvered arrows are a valuable currency that it's weird because like this is a weird thing because like inflation isn't taken into account for the channel divinity. It's like, oh, supply and demand. It's not just like a hammer costs 10 gold pieces and it's like actually we're on a shortage of hammers right now, it costs 20. You know what I mean? The point being it's a process that takes a little bit. But with this channel divinity, are you attempting to make these arrows silver?
Yes. Well, I can only make one because we established last session.
With the inherent magical nature of the process, like the silver arrows themselves aren't magical, but they are made to bypass many magical barriers for monsters specifically. It takes a bit of a process. So you take these 2 crossbow bolts, pretty much equating to the size of one regular arrow.
Mm-hmm. While I can make 10 pieces of ammunition, they're non-magical. So, like, that's also, like, something else. Like, I can't create magical things.
And the thing about silvered is it really rides the line between what is magical and what is not, due to its effect, which is basically magic, on a lot of ghosts, and werewolves is a popular one. So, yes. So you do your channel divinity?
Throwing that out there, yes.
All right. As you sit down with these 2 pieces, you take out your newly forged warhammer, which could also suffice as a forge hammer, one used to turn the metals into more malleable bits. And as you sort of sit and focus on the ammunition in front of you, a similar feeling as if you were in the chamber of self-actualization hits you, as everything around you starts to just like fade out, and you are sitting and focusing on one thing. It reminds you feel like you can do this a lot better now that you've meditated officially in Rick's chamber. As you look down at these pieces, you lift the hammer up. And as you lift the hammer, you feel someone take it from you, and a bright light cascades from behind you. And you wonder what is behind you, but you don't look back. And as you do, you are handed the hammer once more, and this time, bringing it down onto just the bolts sitting there. You hear, "Let my hand guide you." You lift it up once more, and you feel, "Vanquish the evils of this plane." And then, and you are just hitting your hammer against these bolts on the floor. But on your 3rd and final strike, a glow brighter than the sun blinds you. You cock your head back, and as you look back, a beautiful silvered arrow lies in front of you. As you pick it up and test its durability, it is stronger than any wooden arrow you've ever seen, and according to your brother Hogar, could be used in very specific situations.
I check the point again. Boop, boop.
It is incredibly sharp, due to you not, which is weird, due to you not sharpening it or even doing anything to result in a sharp point besides hitting.
You just whacked it.
You just hit it 3 times, and this is what happened.
Magic stuff.
But as you look around, what was previously, the sun was getting lower, but now you look out the window and it is like nighttime. As this process that seemed to take 30 seconds really just passed a lot of time.
And I'm gonna go out and search for Hogar. I know you can't see.
Probably up on the crow's nest or something.
Oh, God damn it. I'm going to climb up the crow's nest. To the crow's nest, I should say. And once I get up there, all right, Hogar.
Yeah.
One silver arrow.
Ah, nice. This will work great if you ever come to a monster that needs extra special vanquishing.
Yeah, stay safe. Don't
You too.
need to lose you too.
I'm not planning on going anywhere if you want.
Why would I go anywhere? We're on a boat. And
You, talking while descending the ladder, have finally made your firm stance on the deck, as firm as you can be out here on the open water as the boat shakes. But Is there anything you would like to do this evening?
I'd like to find Sweetie. It's time to change his bandages again.
Sweetie.
You're gonna say change his pants, and I was like, what?
While all this is
I
happening,
remembered.
Gronk is occupying his room.
First, I would like to ask, did you email me the stats for the monocle?
I did not, and that is my bad.
Okay.
I will do that now as we are talking.
Then, as everyone just kind of went back to their rooms, I'd like to go approach Enigma with my sack of gold. Not all of it, because I don't know if I can physically carry all of it, but just like a nice chunk of at least the 250 gold given by Rick.
Yeah, it came in a separate pouch. Most coin purses you've seen are black and they kind of fold up at the top and like tighten. And Rick's are a pale white with a little button that clicks. Honestly,
God, he's so pretentious.
The coin purse itself probably cost gold to make, so you're a little impressed.
I'd like to go approach Enigma. Just hey, I want to say I'm sorry, and I'm trying to be better, but I don't know how well it's going out. I think I'm doing a little better, but I don't know. Here, I'm paying Ferris's debt to you, out of the goodwill of my heart, and I'm gonna place the little coin stack of 250 gold.
Out of the goodness of your own heart, you're giving me someone else's money. She kind of snickers to herself as she looks forward.
Well, no, that's mine. I had him keep his share.
Interesting.
I want to apologize for how I was acting. Was it yesterday?
It would be 2 days at this point.
I want to apologize for what happened a couple days ago. I was just a little power hungry. Like I said before, I felt like I needed it to be important, but I just want to say I'm sorry.
I accept your apology. Why don't you stay up here for the night?
Oh, okay. It's like a barrel I can pull up next to the.
Yeah, there's a crate next to you, and you take it, and with your unreasonable amount of strength, honestly, you roll it on over, and you as you stand on it, you are now to her shoulder, even with this crate added. It's an interesting picture, but she sort of stands at the wheel, positioned happily. And with that, Hogar, would you make a perception or survival check to help navigate back to Trusk? And Enigma will roll her pilot check.
You mean Sko-Tua?
Thank you. That's what I meant. See, navigator skills.
Yeah, I rolled an 8, but due to my recent expertise, I get +9, so that's a 17.
That is insanely helpful towards this, as you recall the specific wind directions that you felt leaving Trusk, so you have to go back to feel them even. You have an intense, inherent focus to nature that you have nailed better than anybody. Was that expertise in perception or survival, or both?
Survival from the variant things that we
the Unearthed Arcana, yes.
Is it candy note? Does she have navigator's tools that could be used?
Navigator's tools per se,
like maps and compass and such.
Yes. She seems to have no maps laid out of the area. There was a telescope in the crow's nests, a while ago. I know Gesh, the lizard or the Dragonborn, used it when the old crew was aboard, but I don't think it's been used since. And Hogar personally hasn't had any trouble, so he doesn't use the tools. But yeah, no maps, no compasses are on board as of from what you presume.
This one is hard.
When after the conversation that went down happened, Nikolai's gonna go do monk stuff because that's what monks do. Does this ship have I can't remember the specific term, but it's like the stick that pokes off the bow of the ship.
Right.
Does this have one of those?
Yeah, I believe. Sure. I believe it controls like the rudders, right? That's which direction they're facing, or something like that.
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. I don't know anything about
like it's basically another flagpole that goes off the front. So you can fly colors on the front.
Oh, on the front?
Yeah, the bow means front.
I thought I thought there's a thing on the back that I see sometimes on ships, and they kind of like move back.
That's the rudder.
Okay.
That's the rudder. That controls.
So I wasn't an idiot. I just got the wrong part in my mind. Yes, there is like a point to this.
Cool.
Not built for like ramming stuff, you assume.
Ram would be at the bottom anyway.
Yeah. It was just a discussion me and Tom had earlier. I would like to clarify his boat's not a very good ramming tool.
Yeah, ramming your boat is so much worse for your boat than whatever it is you're ramming. It's awful, unless you have a dedicated ram. Anyway, I would like to, as like my meditative practices, I want to go up to the front and try to like handstand on the tip of the very tip of the ship thingy.
All right. Roll an acrobatics check to see how efficiently this goes.
Oh boy. Acrobatics 10.
You like start to put a hand up and you like do that thing where you start to fall over and you panic to like not land on your face. So you like start like walking, you like land back and you it's been a while since you've balanced like this, let alone on a ship. But the second go of it as you do, you sort of like cartwheel into this formation as you stand, and you use the momentum of the waves to balance. You sort of like ease in and out of it as you do. You finally
and as I
feel for it again.
As I assume that position, I will repeat the meditative mantra that I said in the room of self-actualization earlier. And right as I finish, I want to attempt to remove one hand and just balance on one.
All right, roll another acrobatics check for me.
That one's much better. 24.
With the mantra in mind and your teachings fresh within you, you sort of remove your intense grip on the pole and sort of like rest on it. And then you remove one hand. And then sort of like as you lean with one arm, you straighten it out perfectly straight as you stand with your hands on the front of the ship.
All right. And then I'm going to see how long I can stay there. So this has gone from like an acrobatics practice to like an endurance practice.
Roll a constitution check.
It's a 21.
Minutes pass. And you know how time moves slower when you're doing like a plank?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that. But within your mind, you think of the teachings you have learned with Rick and what you just learned about Yorick, your basically father. And you push as you do this, you sort of use it to space out while as well becoming more in tune with your natural instincts as opposed to what you're thinking. Instead of just thinking about it, you let your body naturally take control, and you eventually snap back into reality, like you're in class, and you're like, "Oh, I'm still doing this." But eventually, after presumably way too long for any normal person to be doing this, several minutes pass, and you finally feel a bit of shake in the elbow, and you decide to be safe and sort of elegantly place yourself back down.
All right, and then I'm gonna go down into my room and just sit on my bed and continue to meditate until I get tired, and then I'll go to sleep.
All right. You use a system in which you used a lot when you were a sailor, the natural wave of the ship, while making some people nauseous, it makes you feel like you're being gently rocked in this meditative state. And as you do, you see nothing around you but the water. And you see it as you imagine it in your mind. It is like the most vivid dream you've ever had, but you know that if you were to open your eyes, you would be in this exact position. But as you see around you, the boat's walls are no longer visible to you, as you just see general auras of color springing from where your friends usually are. Roku is a red, but his hand specifically is an ethereal green. And that's something you notice due to him being like directly next to you. And Gronk, Hogar are a light pink. It's a lot less aggressive than the red, and it's a lot nicer looking. Sweetie and Enigma are a nice, cool blue. And this is what you just sort of feel, which is weird to you to just feel what color your friends' auras are. It's an undescribable quality for you and for your DM. But this is what you feel in your meditative trance.
Oh, Cooper.
Oh, Cooper is like black. Like he's irradiating like cartoon stink clouds. It's that, but just of this black energy.
All right.
He's turned the same color his kidney has in these trying times. With his alcohol down below. You notice Grubby and Buckets have no waves whatsoever. They don't register on your aura in your mind.
All right, and that's it. That's me.
All right. Would anybody wish to do anything else for the night ends and the morning comes?
Switch Sweetie's bandages.
Right, of course. Sweetie. You see Sweetie standing on the front or the helm of the ship. And that seems to be where he's staying for the night, as he's set up a nice crate to be there for the night.
Just while he's sitting up on the crate, I'm going to say, all right, Sweetie, are you ready for your bandages to be changed?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to come downstairs with you or something for that?
I can do it up here if you'd rather do it up here.
Okay, well, let's get on with it then.
Sweetie sort of plops on his ass on the crate and like dangles his legs like he's at the doctor's office, and you're on that table where no matter how old you get, your legs won't hit the ground and you feel like a kid. And you sort of like take these rags that you've cleaned off and dried out, and you reapply the three or just the two or the three?
There's two. The third was for like cooling. But
right.
He doesn't need that right now.
He doesn't need that right now. And as you remove the bandages, it looks like you have done a very nice job to maintain this, as the swelling is like basically no longer there, as his eye is still very wounded, but returning to normal.
Gronk's proud of himself, and Jacob Luder King is also proud of himself.
That being said, would you roll another medicine check for me to see how well you apply these bandages?
As wonderful as that sounds, we're approaching the stage in wound healing in which it's no longer infected, but what was formerly infected juices is starting to crust.
18 plus 6.
Give me a sec here.
That's
24.
24. I'm bad at math.
26 minus 2.
24 for my medicine check.
Yes, you very, very efficiently clean and change Sweetie's bandages.
Scrape the crust.
Scrape any crust that's found. Pus is gone at this point. It is indeed just the crust. It basically looked like a big old scab over his eyes now, cleaned out, and it's not better.
All right, Sweetie. And I know mechanically Sweetie's all right, but like thematically speaking,
he's still very wounded.
Mm-hmm. Right. When the going gets tough and we're in the midst of combat, you need to hang back. Because this, and he gently pats the eye, is still very fresh and just play it safe. We can handle it.
I know. I'm not gonna go charge to the front lines or anything, but Gronk, thank you for helping me here.
Yeah, but seriously, you're like one letter opener stab away from no more eyeball.
Hey, Wesley's taken care of. It's all fine.
Camera cuts to Wesley, rotting in a coffin underneath 70
with it's just the body, no head, but they still had the open casket funeral for him.
Still has a note tied to his toe.
As this happens, Enigma says, "Actually, come to think of it, I don't know what the hell happened in Trusk. Would you mind explaining it to me?"
Trusk? Well, let's see. We got in a bar fight. We had a comedian club that exploded.
I meant Sko-Tua. What happened with Sko-Tua?
Okay, Sko-Tua.
Actually, start with Trusk. This is interesting. Thank you, Gronk, for cleaning his bandages. If you don't mind.
Gronk kind of left. Gronk, you want to explain your side of the story too?
That's all right. I just.
She doesn't care about me. That's the point.
No, I appreciate it.
Just. It's your special time. I get it.
All right. So
it's okay. I still care about you.
Back to square one. And as she says this, Sweetie lifts his hands in an explaining motion. And
Gronk leaves.
And Gronk goes back to his room to retire for the night. And in that, we all sort of fade out. And as that fade out is in place, I'm going to take a very small break. I will be back in a couple minutes. As we cut back to our intrepid band of heroes all sleeping beautifully. The morning has risen. And Hogar, in your winks of sleep that you got, you eventually open your eyes and see the fateful land of Sko-Tua. Do you say anything?
I hate this place.
This place is kind of the worst.
Hogar mumbles to himself as he climbs down from the crow's nest. It seems that Sweetie has fallen asleep on the box that Enigma now rests on as well.
Well, time to go find any more overseers and shoot them with arrows.
You all slowly wake up and do your average morning routines as best as you can on a ship. Some of you still sore from the days prior. Tom, one more day left, as he has 3 strength.
I was just going to ask about that too. So this is the 3rd day.
It's the 3rd day.
Oh, I didn't take that into account when I was formulating my plan.
I'm going to be useless for this upcoming fight.
Paladin spells.
Can we afford...
That are all based around melee.
Can we afford to chill for a day?
I think if we wanted to send, Sweeties, if we wanted to send in like a disguised Sweetie to do some reconnaissance, I think that's doable.
Disguised how?
He has disguised self.
Magic.
Okay.
That's how we fooled him the last time he went in as Wesley.
Right, but we can't do that again.
Yeah, so generic slave looking, overseer looking.
I'm Wesley's brother, Kesley.
Well, Wesley was a slave.
Well, if he looks like a slave, he's going to get whipped like a slave if there's any overseers.
He could.
Yeah,
do we have that Eric Cochran man still? Did anyone throw his body overboard?
Not yet.
Not specifically, but
there's a rotting bird just chilling up there.
You can't find it anymore, so you will figure it was disposed of at one point or another.
Did we keep his whip and his armor and stuff?
His armor was taken by, or was that a different overseer you took the armor of, or was it?
We took Gargoyle that was on the ship.
I took the drow armor.
Gotcha.
No one took the halfling yet that I know of.
Right, some of us could go in disguised. I think Nikolai. Right, I think Nikolai could probably go in disguised. Because I don't know how many people actually know what he looks like. And if we, like, change, I don't know, makeup or, like, coal or smudge or something.
There were multiple overseers involved in my capture. Wait a second. Do I remember any that aren't dead at this point?
Roll a history check. That usually you can remember things like how they took your weapons and whatnot, but specifically that first coming into Sko-Tua was a bit overwhelming for you.
Yeah, like Nathaniel, he's running through the ones that he remembers, and he's like, I'm pretty sure at least most of them are dead because I know some of them died at the accident as well. It's a dirty 20 on history.
You recall that everyone who has brought you, all 4 people that drove the carts, are now dead, most of which are in your hand. And and the overseers themselves that help process you, you recall Scarecrow and you remember Gargoyle. But there's one more that you recall.
Oh,
you don't know why. Like, if you saw, you think, oh wait, there was another person there. If you saw their face, you would instantly recognize them, but you can't think of who they are.
Before we go any further, I know I'm kind of interrupting and stuff, but we just woke up from a long rest, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Hammer, magic, boom. Okay, that's it. Done.
Good call. There's one man who might know my face, but I mean it's one man, and he probably processes I don't know how many slaves throughout his life. So I don't know how well he would remember me specifically, but it's still a risk.
Right, because I was thinking, Sweetie could disguise himself. Well, disguise himself.
Then I just go back in as a slave owner and try and go.
They'll be expecting. No, overseer. That's the way to go. We've got some armor.
I don't think overseer is the way to go at all. There's a lot more slave owners.
He could return as Gargoyle, say he was the only survivor from the attack and he was able to make it back because he could fly.
That's what I was thinking, but you took the words out of my mouth. Said it better than I probably could have. But that.
Okay, so I go back in as Gargoyle, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but
you
Gargoyle,
don't have wings.
No, Gargoyle is, I don't know.
Also about 3 feet.
5 feet tall, and I am about 2.5. So, I don't know if you noticed the size difference.
How much can you make it up, bro? It's like 2 inches or something like that, isn't it?
And a foot, either direction.
A foot.
Oh, I can be 1.5 feet tall.
You can look 1.5 feet tall.
Yeah, you can look it. By the way, I sent you the stats to the monocle if you didn't see that.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Right, that complicates things. Why'd you have to be a short person? Damn it.
As you approach the sandy...
I didn't choose how I was born.
You see where there was formerly people fishing on the beach. There's no longer, as every one of their fishing poles has been abandoned on shore, lying half covered by the sand.
What happened here?
That's an excellent question.
Right, I still think we should try reconnaissance. We have some overseer garb.
Honestly, we could go in. I mean, instead of being disguised, just avoid detection stealthily.
Right. Are we gonna leave the wounded here?
The wounded being Roku.
You want to take Sweetie with? Sweetie, are you up for it?
I think I can go.
Yes,
as long as he doesn't have to catch anything flying at high speeds, I think he'll be okay.
We just need to make sure to pass without a trace.
Are you implying that you have that spell?
Yes, I'm casting it now. Give me a second.
How long does that last?
A while.
How long is a while?
I'm You can use
Because, like, if it's an hour, maybe hold off.
up to an hour.
Yeah, maybe hold off.
All right.
I might cast it, like, literally as we're leaving. However, good point. Roku, I hate to leave you behind, but, well, if we're only going in for recon, you might be able to come with.
Right, but
I
if
can be
these get
helpful.
hazy, and there's a good chance they'll get hazy.
I can be helpful. Eye kind of shimmers.
It's like
the power of a god that he's wielding.
It's in like a commercial where they're like, ding, but the eye is open and it is not fun. It's just like this red demonic energy.
I have power.
Do you think I should go in with the bandage, or should I try and right now I'm gonna flip up the bandage to show everyone? You think I could go in like this, and I'm gonna like open
with it, please, with it.
The crust has reformulated on the very edges of each eyelid. It's like those like eye boogers or whatever, but across the entirety of the eyelid.
Go with it. Go with it.
That could be a giveaway. I don't want to draw attention to it, especially if 70 heading it.
You recall 70, the bandage he has on his eye is an exact replica of what 70 had over the eye of Vecna. He had the whole one bandage over the head thing and one here.
Right.
Oh, I just realized that wouldn't disable 70 at all because he could see through it.
Yep. But anyway, I'm gonna rush downstairs to Captain Cooper.
You run down 2 flights of stairs, and as you do,
without saying anything, he just
two motionless golems standing on either side of a motionless, unconscious body, reeking. It's like vodka smell in the air as you take the step downward.
And I knock on the nearest piece of wood. Knock, knock, knock.
He seems asleep.
Does my box have an accent?
Gonna put the hammer down. Don't want to walk over to him, wake him up, and I'm holding a weapon. But I'm gonna like nudge him. Like that one time I did to Garrick when we shared a bed. I kind of grabbed you by the toes and kind of shook you awake.
Touch me, Jedi scum.
He did say that.
Hard for me. Cooper. Don't touch me. Oh.
Right, Captain Cooper. I'm sure you were having a lovely dream, but I need to borrow an eye patch. Right, good night. Thank you.
He picks up the bottle and immediately just as soon as you walk out, you figure when you wake up and take a look around to chug whatever alcohol you see in front of you, it's not a good sign for most people.
Yeah, sorry. What a miserable man. Anyway. Stairs. All right, sweetie. I know you're probably not ready to take the bandage off yet, but...
Where did you get this?
Shh. And I...
As soon as he motions it towards your face, you get the smell of like what a bar floor on a Saturday night smells like. It's like right up on your eye.
I'm putting like straight alcohol in my. I don't know if you guys have ever had like hydrogen peroxide close to your face, and that's like a good like percentage of alcohol. But
depending on how strong the booze is, this could annihilate any chance of infection you might have left. Or, because it's Captain Cooper's face, it might infect immediately. It's dicey.
He has not showered in 50 years.
Did you take that from Cooper?
Yes, I did.
What did he say?
He didn't really say anything. He just said, what? And then, oh. And handed me the
Shaking my head, I'm going to make my way downstairs.
I'm going to follow.
You go down 2 flights of stairs and into the bottom floor of the ship, which usually holds the cargo, but is now empty. Besides the 2 large creatures made of coral and barnacles. And on the floor, a man leaning against one of their legs, like a post, as he through his beard.
Cooper, are you okay?
Hey, as okay as I'll ever be.
Is everything all right?
Hey, things have been better in my time, but that's life.
I'm gonna look to Roku.
Gonna share his confused gaze. Then gonna press him for more information. Would you care to explain what's troubling you?
He throws the bottle at you and a bit splashes. You wouldn't understand. It's a sailor thing.
I walk up, sit down right across from him. Alrighty then, let's talk sailor to sailor.
I miss me crew. I regret the things I had done. There's no way I can atone for them now.
I think there might be.
Aye.
What if you had a new crew? Someone else.
Anything long term will just end up as it did before, in ruin in front of my eyes. I've lost all hope of a happy ending. Look at
So
me.
you would rather drink away your days in a drunken stupor than have purpose.
This man's a sailor. You just described his version of paradise.
Hey. But I'm down to my last drop.
Cooper, do you know where I was before you came to pick me up?
Some sort of slave camp.
Worse. I was the personal plaything for the most evil man in the most evil place in the world. I was like you. Alone in a dark hole. No thought of any happy ending for me. But then these men, and I'll point to Roku, these men showed up. And they not only saved, but they changed my life. Who's to say that we can't do the same for you?
I can't be saved. And he knocks over the bottle and it rolls on the floor. I made a mistake years ago that made me lost at sea. I disgraced a poor woman because I cared more about the presumed safety of my own ship, which I ended up dooming anyways. I'm just bad luck.
Cooper, if you come with us, the only luck in your life will be that you make for yourself. No fortune will control you except your own.
Hey, but to live with what I have done, what I have seen is a feat of strength.
Don't live with it. Forget it. It's nothing now. It's the past. There's nothing we can do, so why bother? Live with what you have now, what you have before you. The opportunity to work with a new crew, with new friends.
I wish there was some way to atone, to make it up for what I've done.
Roku steps forward There is atonement for you, Cooper. In the eyes of my father, the god of strength and storms.
Care to run
Sir?
it by me again? Your father, God.
Cord himself.
He looks at Nikolai. What?
Nikolai nods with like a slight half grin on his face, like, yeah, you're talking to the child of a god.
Roku, I knew you were one son of a gun, but I did not understand the weight you have out on here on the seas. And you, a sailor as well. I believe you're right. There is no luckier crew than this here. If fortune was no my favor.
Hand up and like hold my hand out to like help him up too.
If fortune was not in my corner before, she certainly is now. All right. But what happens as if we return to the waterfront? I no longer see any of you.
Well, how would you like to captain a ship for us?
Will there be more booze?
Look who you're talking to.
Aye. Can Grubby and Buckets join as well?
I'd have it no other way.
Right.
He unsheathes the sword as the familiar green glow runs down the hilt. He plugs it back into the sheath. And as he does, the golems spring to life and turn and extend a hand as if expecting a handshake from both. One is looking to you, Roku, and one is looking to you, Ferris. Or Nikolai.
Nick.
It's going to take a while.
It always does. I was Idris for I don't know how long. I'll shake his hand.
This, you like reach and you can like, it's sort of like when a baby grabs their parent's hand. It's like sort of around the thumb. Is it like... All right. Although I do insist on keeping Grubby and Buckets down here when we don't need them. They're starting to smell. And he starts to like walk past you back up the stairs.
I'm going to turn to Roku and say quietly, like, I'm not saying this with the intent of Captain Cooper hearing it, but if he does, like, oh well. Are we sure that the smell is them and not him?
I laugh and I go to catch up with Cooper.
I'll follow as well.
As he's walking up the stairs, all of you, but especially those who just talked to him, can hear his voice echoing as he, what shall we do with the drunk in sailor what? And he's a very bombastic, voyeuristic style about him as he hits every note with a certain enthusiastic sort of accent. And so you, of course, hearing this, like, spring to life.
I'm going to put my hand on his back and say, I think this drunken sailor needs to lie down for a bit.
That is a good idea. And he turns right back around and starts walking down the stairs back to the cargo hold. So he was brought back from his stupor to then sleep it off in the exact same location. But you get a feeling that he is now doing much better mentally. And at this time, you have now officially reached and anchored at the shore of Sko-Tua.
The idea we've got going on here is a stealth incursion. The first thing I want to do is scan the beach and like the knoll past the beach to see if there are anybody there.
Roll perception check for me.
That's a dirty 20.
You glance, you see that while there is nobody on these beaches, the fields are the first thing you stumble across as you look inwards towards the city. And the fields were several days ago ripe with crop that were being harvested, but it is now completely flat as there's no more of this grown wheat ahead. But that is the only sign of any sort of change or civilization you even see.
All right. And could you describe, like, geographically the beach itself? Does it, like, go up into a bank and then back down into the city?
the beach itself is sort of just this like this very like loose bit of sand that that your ships park on and that they fish off of. But as it sort of like slowly makes its way onto regular grass as a road forms that leads its way down a central path into the city. And as the central path starts, there's a bit of grass as well and some the odd trees, but not too heavily forested. And then you eventually reach on either side of you these wheat fields that expand out past the eye.
Okay. I think if stealth is our goal, then cover could be difficult.
Well, you then.
Are there any lifeboats on the beach?
You note specifically that even though you are docking on this beach, there is no other sign of any sort of ship anywhere.
Okay.
Nice.
There goes my on-land version of the Pirates of the Caribbean stealth trick. But, oh well.
Right. I'm not super stealthy, but I think the best way to go about it is just to go into it.
Well, just walk straight in.
Can't just walk straight in. This place is too quiet.
Yeah.
A few days ago, this entire area was covered in slaves. There were people fishing everywhere. Something's off. I know we overthrew the government here, but no, something's not right.
No offense, Nikolai, but you look like the most stealthy person I've ever met, and rather agile young fellow. Would you mind taking point and scouting out a bit ahead, and then doubling back a bit? Tell us what's up, and then we can continue from there.
So yes.
Nick, I'm gonna go with you.
Oh, right.
I'm rather stealthy myself.
Sweetie, I can't give a reason to say no.
I'll go too. I'm stealthy as well.
Again, keep up and keep quiet.
All right.
And then I'm gonna vault over the side of the boat.
The two members clad in heavy armor stay behind as the rest go to stealth. The gangplank is out, but Nikolai makes the point as of vaulting over the side and sort of landing on the sandy shore. As all of you walk down, you step on the plush sand as you walk, and then eventually hit the sort of gravelly stone path. And as you walk forward, as you are all scouting, roll perception checks, all of you.
30, 20. Or, sorry, not 20.
21?
30, 20?
Oh, not 21. Sorry. My math is very off. More than 21. It's big. 23. There we go. I can math.
You are all walking while, sort of slinking downward. And you all hear, you get to the point where it's like sort of grassland as now you are past the beach. And just before you get to the fields, you hear a noise, a rustling behind a tree. And directly in front of you, you see the light catch that there is a fine tripwire, almost like a fishing line, that is tied between two trees that flank either side of the stone path.
I want to go over to one of the trees, being exceptionally careful to not disturb the tripwire, and investigate and see if I can see what manner of trap it may be.
All right, roll an investigation check as you sort of like slink up to this tree.
14.
Right. You examine the tripwire and it goes behind the tree. And before poking your head behind, you take a glance at the other one. And due to this angle, you see a human man dressed in slave attire, wielding a pitchfork as he sits behind the tree.
Can he see me?
He's not looking at you. He seems to be like waiting for something, but he's not looking in that direction.
Alrighty. I want to, as quietly as possible, go over to like behind his tree and then like jump in and clamp my hand over his mouth so he can't shout.
All right. Roll a grapple check for me, and he will make his response with disadvantage. Oh my god!
Grapple
It's the
check.
best disadvantage I've
That's
ever rolled.
athletics.
Yes, athletics. Yes.
That's grapple check. That's athletics. That's a 16.
You sort of, and as you do so, you notice that there in the tree that you had just almost investigated the wire at, there's a man as well standing behind that tree, but armed with a sledgehammer, and he's glanced over, and as you grab around the tree, the man jumps out from behind and has the pitchfork aimed at your face, and he goes, "Ah, who are you? Who are you motherfuckers?"
Guys, we're the ones who freed you. We're coming back to see if you guys were freed.
Just point with my thumb back to Sweetie, like the what he said point.
We're the guys who killed 70 and all the overseers here.
Most of the overseers.
Most of them, anyway.
We need to finish the job.
And as you see pop out from behind the tree, there's what also looks to be another human, but this time as well holding a sledgehammer, a little more muscular than the human pointing the pitchfork at you. And he says, You guys killed 70? That was you?
I mean, technically they did. I was stuck in a hole.
We killed 70. Wesley, we rescued this guy. He was under 70's house, but yeah, we rescued him too.
Gargoyle, the scarecrow.
I killed the witch and the man with the sword.
Oliver, go get Big. See if these guys are okay.
Oh, the black cat guy, the one with one arm.
Oliver and the man.
We have a friend back on the ship.
Share a look. Yeah, and the man puts the sledgehammer behind his back and trods off past the fields.
Could I get your names? He was Oliver, and you are
Rhyme.
Rhyme.
Rhyme. R-I-M-E.
My name is Nikolai. I was a slave here as well.
Backs up with this pitchfork and sort of tries to move your hand down.
I understand being cautious. Could you explain the political situation?
The what situation?
Political. Who's in charge here?
Oh. Big. He sort of roused us all. Used some sort of abilities he's learned. Some sort of magic. A very, very apprentice level, but he took control pretty quickly. But there are slaves that want to escape. There's slaves that want to overthrow. There's slaves that just want to kill everything else because it's an anarchy. So we had to set this trap to be safe. And as he looks at you, this man has been consistently out of breath since he turned the corner of the tree. Now, he does not look out of shape by any stretch of the imagination, but he looks like a stiff breeze could blow him over. Like, he's so on guard. He's so frightened of any sort of opposition. He does not look combat trained in the slightest.
I understand your apprehensive nature and the possible hostility you may be facing, but because of this, I understand if you don't trust me. But if you need to, you can sit down, have a moment to rest. I am of no threat to you.
Roll
Neither are my
persuasion.
friends here.
Roll persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Yeah.
Well,
12?
12.
Okay,
1, 2.
Sorry, I thought you said, well...
Oh, no, 12.
I'm just bad at hearing things. Stabs the into the ground so that the handle is easily grabbable, and he uses it as a staff to stand by, and he goes, "Sorry about the hostility."
I understand. As I said, I was in your place not too long ago. You've been through much.
You said the other ones were coming. The other ones on the ship, they left a couple days ago. We were wondering when they were coming back.
Oh yeah, that's us.
Can you signal to them?
Yeah. Can the ship still see us?
Kinda. It's pretty distant. And he goes, no, not those. The guard, the ones who bring the slaves in by cart. They left.
We killed all
killed
those.
them too.
Are you sure?
We let that Minotaur guy keep the ship, and he left. 12, I think his name was. No.
No, we killed Dogman and the other traders who were on the boat.
Maybe he just ran away.
The sea serpent, I believe. This is the vessel you speak of?
That's the one.
Yes, it's the Sko-Tua slave masters there were dispatched, and the Minotaur, he took the ship with him. I don't know where.
Neither do I. As this happens, a very large one-armed tabaxi man wielding a sledgehammer in the one hand walks up, and you can see him approaching from a distance.
How close are we to the ship?
You guys have walked for about like 5 minutes at this point, so you're in within
a mile at most.
Yeah. You're in squinting view.
I'm gonna run back to the ship, or I'm gonna run back to the beach of the ship.
When we see him running, can we make our way towards him?
Yeah, you see the little man sprinting back, and you see him with his awkward legs, and you just go, and you get off the ship and walk down, and you meet him halfway. But as this is happening, he goes, "You all came back. That is a surprise."
Yes, we
had to make sure that you were okay.
Yeah.
Okay isn't the half of it. Unfortunately, we have lost a lot of lives here. When everything went down, the opposition decided to all mount an expedition to go and find you guys. Our expedition is not making a return, no?
The sea serpent?
If they do, there are more serious things to worry about than slavery.
We took the opportunity that you guys set for us. We used our picks, our sledgehammers, our scythes, and our pitchforks. We killed 3 of the overseers, but we can not unlock the armory where they keep all of our old things. Some fled and some tried to resist standing with the overseers. We've had to end a lot of lives as of these past couple of days. It's been utter anarchy.
The armory. The armory.
What? The armory?
You tried forcing your way into the armory?
Yes. It seems the lock is enhanced with a magical ability to keep it shut. And there's only
any other ways in?
You can blow a hole through the wall, but that isn't very practical due to the stone structure of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one key, and none of us are going where the key is.
Where is it?
Well, it's called the Panopticon.
The what?
The Panopticon? It's a big tower that they use to watch prisoners.
Mm.
It's a dark hole they used for mental punishment when they are done with their physical. They keep you in a dark cell, and a singular tower sits in the middle, as all the slaves are in cells in a circle. You can't see into the window of the guard tower, and you never know when you're being watched and when you're not. It's torture. They keep you in the darkness, and Sevni has turned the worst and most resisting to slaves into horrible atrocities. And that's just where they stay.
What is in the Panopticon now?
Whatever guard was in there when we left. But we know he holds the key due to some who have barely scraped by keeping their sanity when in the Panopticon.
And if we were to acquire the key for you, you could retrieve your items. And
we open the armory, creating a much more stable basis. People can retrieve their old items and have a bit of what their old lives used to be. But I'm
Even
afraid,
sorry.
I'm afraid even though we thought we have things figured out, there is still people amongst us that resist us. Some have been mentally changed by these slavers, as if they think we need them to survive.
If the armory is opened, your weapons and items are returned to you, who is to take charge?
I hope it's not me. I wish to leave. The only difference is that these people have seen me as a leader, as I heeded your advice when you gave it. When one of the overseers was filling in at the mine, I cracked his skull open as he fell down the shaft. He died on impact. A lot of people took after me when I did this. We ended up with the overseer in the guard tower with a pitchfork to his chest. The other one hung for the atrocities he committed. But now we are holding out in our very, very small huts, and whatever we have left is a bit of safety, a bit of sanctuary, but it does not last. There are raiders and looters, and there's also other tribes that reside in this area we do not want to get engaged with.
How many of the freed slaves oppose you? But like, how many opponents are we talking?
I am holed up in a hut with about 25 like-minded individuals.
What about the big house? What is left of it in the town square?
It was burnt down the first night. It was the symbol of tyranny that cast its shadow on all of us. So we burnt it down. We all got a little animalistic. The slavers, they broke us down into work animals, less than people. And that's exactly what they became. So we killed them, like animals.
Trust me, I know.
And at this point, the rest of the group walks up, and you see, for some of you, or for everyone here that's not Nikolai, the familiar one-armed, muscular Tabaxi that they call Big.
So, what seems to be the deal here?
There's a tower with a key in it.
The panopticon.
Key to what?
The armory. I turned to Roku. It appears that we may not have to worry about the requisitioning weapons from Thrak. Everything you need is here. It's just a matter of attaining it. I think a group of us, I think at this point our best military strategy is to storm the Panopticon, get the key to the armory, give it to Big and his people so that they can use their weapons to restore order where there is now chaos.
Wait, guy, how is this armory locked?
With a lock, a magically enhanced lock.
Well, I can open magical locks.
Well, screw the Panopticon then.
Take us to this armory, Mr. Big, sir.
What?
Can you take us to the armory? I might be able to open it without the key.
Sure, but be on your lookout. There are still raiders and scavengers about.
You perchance have a weapon that I could use. And I point to the pitchfork. May I? The pitchfork. Can I take it?
Oh, sure. It's my only one though, so.
And I snap the fork end off of it so I can use it as a staff.
He picks up like the bottom part and he like puts his fingers through it and he goes, I guess. You better get this armory open.
We got this.
Right, so these raiders, are they slaves, like, or overseers? What's the overseer population like? What's
one.
The way
maybe.
Big told it appears that only who is left in the panopticon.
We could
Yeah.
kill him and let
They
me
come-
find.
A couple of them ran away, bunch of cowards, and then we killed 3 others. No name randos. But the only one that we know of is one of the most feared. He's the Panopticon guard.
We
Right, we
wiped
might
him
end
out.
up killing him anyway.
Mr. Big, if we arm your men, is it possible that they can storm the panopticon themselves?
Arming them is not the issue. Convincing them to go in there is the problem.
We need to strike ourselves because we perhaps have followers.
You can try, but not even I am crazy enough to go in there.
Trust me, when it comes to crazy, this group has it in spades.
Good. Then you can keep it to yourselves then. And he starts walking back and he goes, I'll take you to the armory now if you wish.
Right, I think that
I'll
seems
follow.
That
appropriate.
would be delightful.
All right, he walks inwards towards town. And as you walk past, the fields are barren, and you see that some of them have been like partially burnt. Whereas like the majority of them have been like just taken down. But some of the ground is like left this ashy remains. As well as the horrifying sight of when you get to the quarry. There's a small fence that holds you back from falling into the pits of the quarry. But if you were to take a glance over it and look down, piles of bodies are at the bottom that are ashed out due to the attempted cremation. These holes have been filled with, not filled, just the bottom have been layered with bodies of who you can't tell. They are burnt. As you walk farther in, give me a sec here. As you guys continue, you witness these quarries, and you see that some of the huts that the slaves lived in next to the quarries are filled with families, or you can see eyes looking out the windows darting at you as you walk by. And you eventually make it to that town area. Every window has been smashed. Every single door has been broken. And as you finally look to the direction in which Big points you, it's just by itself at the end of a long twisted road, this big, basically concrete bunker that sits at the edge. It looks to be about the length and width of a warehouse, but the height is significantly shorter.
Oh, that's the building then?
The armory, yes.
Oh, come on, boys. And we'll start marching over to the warehouse.
I walk towards it, looking out for traps.
I'm gonna hang back and keep more of a lookout for scavengers or raiders or whatever.
All right.
Can I see through the walls of this warehouse?
I will check 1 second here. Gronk, I would like for you to roll the perception check while everyone else moves towards the.
I wanna hang back with Gronk.
Okay.
Keep
Yeah,
watching.
along with Hogar, I want to also be scanning for traps just to make sure we don't run over tripwires and then get jumped by good guys or something like that.
Okay.
You glance, specifically focusing your vision on this armory, and it seems you start to get through the stone, and you see the next layer of it, but it is a stone substance, or a metal substance that you can't see through. You don't know why.
Lead.
Lead.
Just kind of shrugging it off.
That perception check was an 18.
All right.
Want me to give one too, since I'm hanging back with him?
Sure.
Or is the 18 fine?
The 18 is fine.
Well, I rolled a 10, so we're gonna go with the 18.
As you glance around, you look up at that guard tower just on the outlier of the town, of this like sort of building heavy area, and you hear a and as you do, the guard tower, as one of its 4 legs gets cut down, it sort of and you see as you can't see what is causing it to break down, but in the distance you see the fall of the top of the guard tower with nobody in it, as they seem to be chopping it down.
Good riddance.
They need some sort of order, structure, a leader to assemble them. I'm assuming some of them want a way out of here. Some don't have anywhere to go.
As you swing, as you hear the swings connect even more, as the rest of the party walks up, you eventually see the tower completely. You hear the splintering of wood and as it hits the ground and fades from view. The rest of you walk up to this armory in which you see 2 sort of gray doors, very, very apparently metal, and there seems to be no knob on this door.
There's no knob on this door. Is there any like?
There is
I see for like locking.
There is one rather large keyhole on the right side.
Can I like look in the keyhole? Is it keyhole-esque, or is it like?
You can certainly try. Roll perception check for me.
That's going to be an 18.
You press your face to it, and it is immediately dark. Assuming this keyhole doesn't reach the other side of the door.
Okay. Hey boys, cover your ears. And I'm going to shove my finger into this keyhole. I know it's not the right idea. Shove my finger in this keyhole and cast knock.
That is the funniest way to cast knock I've ever. That's hilarious.
Suddenly, the door, a sort of glow that you hadn't even noticed before, fades on that door. But the left door still maintains the glow.
Is there a lock on the other side?
There's not.
Maybe we do need that key.
One that kind of lost its glow. I want to like press on it. Does anything happen?
You wait. The one that kind of lost its glow, is you press on it. It seems like it seems to give a bit, like a door would, but it firmly is locked in place.
Is it a pole?
No, it's a push.
Oh.
Pull door.
If it was if it was a pull, you do not know how you would function.
Magnetic fingers.
So I guess we do need that key.
Yeah, I was thinking we were probably going to have to go there anyway and kill last god, since no one else was willing to.
Try doing it on the other door too, since that one's still like magically locked. Like it might be a magical seal between the 2.
I mean,
like whatever you did, like it seems like it worked, just not on both doors.
Well, the keyhole's only on the side, so I figured the key would have both doors sealed.
The physical lock might just be on that side, but the magic lock might apply to both.
Go over to the other door, and then just kind of like close my eyes, put just my 5 fingertips on the door, and then just kind of like look down as I'm casting knock again.
All right. A similar glow fades from the second door.
Okay. And there's no more fade, so I'm gonna act like these are like the little saloon gate things that can swing open really easily. I'm gonna like apply that much force. I'm like, whoop, as I'm like thinking they'll open easily, except I'm guessing they won't open at all.
You just
and like
and push yourself backwards with the force.
Roku, Nikolai, you guys look a little stronger than I do. Well, maybe. And I'm going like, Roku,
Roku is not stronger than anybody right now.
Oh, wait. Shit.
And Nikolai is back on the main street with Gronk right now.
You have to shout for me.
Mm-hmm.
Am I really the strongest of us three right now? The spellcaster bard?
What's your strength?
16.
Oh, you are stronger than I am.
Why?
Jared, what's your strength?
Then Gronk's the strongest out of all of you guys.
Well, right now.
Right now? Yeah, you got a strength of 3.
Well, the door doesn't look like it's budging. I think we should probably go. Oh, wait, is this a bunker? I'm imagining like one of those World War II German bunkers that have like the giant slit out front. Like, are there any of those slits anywhere that like you can crawl into or anything?
No, but
Okay.
it has
just
the same like style in mind. Just there's a metal, large, heavy double door metal instead of a slit.
So this is just basically a giant concrete block that has 2 metal doors on it. Well, I think we might have to go into the, I don't know, the weird tower thing. I didn't catch the name. Yeah, that thing. Well, we'll just go grab the other guys and go.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're on our own.
Yeah.
All right. Do you go?
Could you look into the inner mechanisms of the lock with your eye?
I tried to, yes.
What
It
did you?
is magically sealed. I cannot see in.
I mean, I'm not saying it is that easy, but I mean, Gronk, could you just get that fancy hammer of yours and try some percussive maintenance on the wall? I mean, it's only stone.
Gronk, you make your way from this main street area and you swing your hammer overhead and sprint down the long walkway all the way to the armory. As all of them try to sit and stare at the door, Gronk just, and I need you to make a roll to hit the door.
I'm going to go up with Gronk. Like, obviously I'm not attacking the door, but I want to be up there with him.
No.
You go, and it just glances off of it, and it does not look like it even chipped it.
Like I said, I think this is a futile exercise.
We have to kill this guy anyway. Let's just go do it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we gotta do it anyway.
My issue is I don't want to do so, Roku, with you being the state you're in.
Like I said, I'm useful. Eye flashes again.
We'll create a protective barrier around Roku, and it'll be great.
Roku, I understand that you have net power with the artifacts, but for your own safety as well as just the general good, I don't know if using those is the best way to approach things.
I have the power. Why not use it?
Because it's good to corrupt or even kill you. I mean, look at the state you're in now. Look at the state you're in now. This is the sort of thing that these artifacts do. You can barely stand. You can't fight.
But look at the good I did. I brought a man back to life.
Right. That doesn't change the fact that when we get in there and we have to fight this guy, you're soft and squishy. And do you have a shield?
Does it look like I have a shield?
Could you use a shield?
No. Yes. Yes, I could. Paladins are proficient.
Gronk, he never uses his shield anyway. He's gonna give Roku his shield and say,
if you guys would rather wait a day, I would be at full strength.
time is of the essence.
Then let's go.
I would like to note that Roku cannot attack with his maul while also wearing a shield.
Well, if I try and hit anybody with the maul, I'm making a mistake anyway.
Yeah, but
To be fair, you deal a minimum of 1 damage if you hit.
That's if I hit. I got like a -5.
2d6 minus 3, and it would hit would be -3 to whatever your current bonus is. Or no, wait, that's no.
What stats are adjusted? It's your strength and constitution, right?
Just his strength right now.
Okay. I was gonna say because
so
that
one is like a -4 or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, the shield is +2 to your AC while you're using it. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you guys wish to go to the Panopticon?
We could mingle with the slaves, and then I'll be useful. Mingle with the slaves for a night, and then I will be useful.
all right. If we are staying for the night, then we need to
cut hairs, but you spend 4 days at 3, so it would actually be at the end of the 4th day. Like tomorrow will be the 4th day and final day, and then when the 5th day finally arrives, then you will be back to normal.
We could attack tomorrow night.
But is it like the 4th day when I cast Wish? Because I cast like Wish at noonish that day.
It was even earlier than that.
It was
at like 6 in the morning.
4 days, and it has been 3 days. So then there's a 4th day, and then
that morning, okay.
And then the next noon.
So I'm still useless until the end of tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we can do this. We can rest and attack tomorrow night.
It would be 2 days from now at noon.
Yeah. We just discussed.
Yeah.
Well,
let's just do this.
Well, I thought it's been 3 days.
Yep, and then I have to
tomorrow
finish
would be the 4th
day. I have to finish that day.
Tomorrow night.
On the 5th.
The 4th day.
On the 5th day, it will be returned to normal.
Like the 5th day at the same time I cast Wish, or the 5th day starting that day?
I don't know, but that is now the ruling, despite whatever the math may technically be.
So at midnight tomorrow.
Yeah, folks. There are some pros to that, but I'm going to gesture around to the literal anarchy that we are in. Time is of the essence. No, I'm not opposed to it, but I am saying...
It's 1 more day. It's worth it.
I mean, that guy can't be tough enough to take 4 of us and, no offense, Roku, but how can he possibly take 4 of us?
Listen, I think we should go in this. We're not only fighting who's probably a powerful man, but he has all of the advantages. Panopticon is probably the most defendable position you could ask for.
And probably some goons.
He may have backup as well. We don't know who all is there. We should probably wait until we have as much as we can. So I say we return to the...
Right?
Big ever mention what's stored in there besides him? Like, are there other people in there, or is it just that guy?
We don't know. Nobody's been in to the tower itself. You can't see into the tower. That's the point.
Right. I'm going to turn to Roku. Can you do your magic visioning thing? Try it on the Panopticon.
Let's go.
Right now.
It's on the tower, right?
Yes. But he said it's a tower and a hole.
Why don't we just go to the top of the tower? And then, wait, if it's a tower and a hole, is it It's a giant basement.
How do we get to the top?
Climb it. I don't know. It's like a
Right, if
hot
it's
air
in the
balloon
hole,
around
then
here or something.
I don't know. Let's just go look at it, and then we can decide.
Okay. Do you know where the
think-
Panopticon is located?
No.
Let's ask Mr.
Our
Big.
first order of business should be return to the ship and tell Enigma to be on her way so we don't hold her up any longer.
Fuck, I forgot that's a
Oh, yeah.
problem we have to deal with. Yeah. Right. What if Sweetie goes back to the ship and does that, and then we check out the Panopticon, and then we all meet back up at the ship?
Well, what? Why am I obligated to go by myself if we're all going to go there
Fine,
together?
I'll do it by myself if you're uncomfortable.
No, I'll go back to the ship by myself. I'm just asking, why am I going by myself if we're all going back there together anyways?
Yeah,
That's
what
what I
Because
was
some of us
wondering
are going
the
to
same
split
thing.
off and look at the Panopticon.
Right, but if we're returning to the ship, you might as well come look at the Panopticon with us because we're going back to the ship anyway.
Then let's do that. You made it sound like talking to Enigma was a high-class priority.
I mean, I think we should do that as soon as possible, yes. But if we're doing
we
that,
need-
then we might as well go to the ship first and then look at the Panopticon.
We're doubling back. Just go Panopticon ship.
We also don't even know where it is.
Where's Mr. Big at? Did he wander away?
As soon as he pointed you to the armory, he just walked off to wherever he was before.
Son of a bitch.
I mean, I'm sure any of the
think-
slaves would know where it is. It seems fairly infamous.
Fair point. Turns to Nikolai.
What do you guys not understand about stuck in a hole for 2 months?
Like, you're so unhelpful sometimes. There's got to be there's slaves everywhere. Where are the slaves? And then
They're no
Gronk's
longer
gonna be-
slaves, correcting him.
looking around. Are we really that? Did we miss the Panopticon? Are we that obtuse? Like when we visited here? Are we literally that obtuse?
Sko-Tua is also like an entire city / country / I don't know.
It's a city. It's the size of a city, but a lot of it is quarries and fields. So these are the only buildings you've seen, but you've never ventured past here as well.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking we're just stupid. So I appreciate that. Garrick,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to look around to see if there's anybody else, and then the tower that fell. Head towards that because I also know people must have been there.
All right, roll a perception check as you walk towards the fallen tower.
8.
As you walk through the streets, you notice the rubble and the rocks askew on the ground. But finally, you get to what the outskirts of the town is. And you see that guard tower is currently being hacked into what looks to be firewood by a group of a couple of slaves, or former slaves, wearing their uniforms and all. One of them looks to be orc, and one of them looks to be a dwarf, and the other looks to be elven.
Like the holy trinity of fantasy characters or fantasy races.
All races that stereotypically hate each other.
Excuse me. Could we speak with one of you, please?
As they hear you come up, the elven woman who has the axe goes, "Son of a! What are you doing here?" And then the other ones turn around and one has a very, very small and seemingly dull knife, and the other just has like a large, girthy branch.
Right.
We mean no harm. We just have questions.
Yeah, could you show
Point
us
it.
where the Panopticon is, please?
The hell are you doing there?
Well, that's where the key
Closing
to
of
the
it.
armory is.
We're gonna go hunt down the guard inside.
You must be new around here.
Yes, we know we're crazy. If you could just point this out, it's not any trouble to you, I wouldn't think. So, tell us where to go and we'll go.
Past Sevney's old manor, there's going to be a large circular building. That's what you're looking for.
Thank you. And it's still up. It hasn't been raised like the rest of the town.
Haven't visited.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have fun chopping. See, that wasn't so bad.
So, we go back to the boat first. Tell Enigma to be on her way.
What are we gonna do with
That's the play.
What are we gonna do with that gold on the boat?
Have Captain Cooper hold on to it at the waterfront.
He seems like a nice guy, but I don't know if I can trust him with 6,000 gold.
Yeah,
10,000.
well,
The extra 4 you're not taking into account. But I trust the man's a sailor. I trust him as well as I trust any of you.
I appreciate that, but we also just met, and that's not true. We've known each other for a hot minute now, but
I've known him just as long.
I hate to agree with Sweetie. Like, that just sounds wrong, but I don't think we need 10,000 gold pieces worth of booze, is what I'm afraid of.
He will keep it safe or incur the wrath of the gods.
That might get him. That'll do it. That'll do it. You say that to him. Boom. He's a superstitious soul.
We're in agreement then?
Yeah, no, now I'm okay.
I turned to the other two.
Scare him. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm chill.
All right. Let me make my way back.
All right. You leave from that general area and back through the center of town, where out in the distance you see a man who seems to have cut his clothes a little bit. He's now shirtless, and the bottom of his slave pants are now like torn with the rough terrain, and he's just carrying like a box. And he jumps out a window and looks at you guys, and like just takes off the other in like another direction and keeps running.
Time is of the essence.
Okay. As you walk back, this is a pretty lengthy walk. It's about 35 minutes, as it was to get into town as well as out. And as you make it to the fields, you look in the distance, and you see a boat. You don't believe it to be your own.
Reggie.
Is our boat still there?
Roll perception check for me.
That's not a D20. Natural 20.
You scan the horizons, but you do not see it anywhere.
Will.
With your natural 20, you scan the horizons, and as you do, you look back to the trees that those two men poked out of.
Mm-hmm.
And they are as well not there.
This ship on the horizon, do I recognize it?
You do not.
Okay. I keep making my way towards the dock, I guess.
I'm going to say, does Nikolai relay this information to us?
Sure.
You can all see it pretty well.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to try and contact Enigma. Hold on. And I reach out for somebody's shoulder. If nobody lets me, then that's fine. But
I'm there.
I don't know if he's reaching up here, that he's really gonna get you.
I hold my brother up.
I lean over to Hogar and does he do this often?
This is the best time doing it, actually.
And with that, I'm going to cast Sending.
Okay.
Well, I only have 25 words, but
It was only 3.
The boat is gone. Where are you?
She's probably going to the waterfront, like she said she would.
Did you leave?
Please
Or
come back.
bad things. That's it. And she has 25 words to respond with, and she knows it's me.
At first, you are worried about the radio silence you hear. Then you hear
True.
Enigma's voice, but you are immediately concerned as you hear, in a catatonic-like state, she says, "Must leave now." And that is it.
That was so ridiculously not helpful. What?
Right.
You could sense from her response to you that she does not speak like that.
Yeah, no, even when Garrick role plays it, that's not usually how she speaks, so mega concerned. I'm going to turn to the rest of the group and say, so, we may have an incy-wincy, teensy bit of a complication.
And
Well, the ship's gone for a start, but when I contact Enigma, it doesn't sound like it's Enigma, like it's Enigma, but it's not Enigma, if that makes sense. Like, she's not in control of what she's doing.
Well, wait, what happened to her?
That's an excellent question, and one she did not answer.
Well, we need to go get her. We need her back.
I agree with the little one. We should probably go quickly, and I'll take off at a jog.
God, I don't run fast.
Are you moving in towards the beach?
Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
As you do, you make it towards the treed-in area where you see the tripwire that you saw before, and carefully avoiding it, your eyes dart to the right. And you can't help but see an arm behind a distant tree. It seems to be laying on the ground as if the person behind the tree was sitting there.
I look through the
walk
tree?
over to it.
I don't know if you can look through the tree. That's a good question. I will look here if I have the... it's a certain distance that you can see.
I'd like to approach it and look through the tree.
Up to 3 feet of wood or dirt. So you glance through the tree, and you see first that there is actually a scimitar plunged through the tree. And then you zoom further in past it, and you see that the man you talked to, that Nikolai took the pitchfork from, has a scimitar plunged through his neck and into the tree. And at this moment, can I get everyone's exact positionings, please?
I am right next to Gronk.
Roku cannot be surprised. Just gonna throw that out there.
That is correct. Roku?
I'm almost in between Holgar and Gronk because I was there waiting for his hand to be on my shoulder. And with nimbleness, I can't occupy their space.
Okay.
I am.
I took point when I jogged off.
Roku,
So I up front.
you look at the tree and immediately sense a trap. As your eyes dart around, you know that there is someone around this area that is about to cast a spell at you, and you see the exact person as they stand a bit off to the left. They are standing in the middle of the trail, so you get a little confused as to why nobody saw them as they walked over. But you notice that they're sheathed in a small sheet of green essence, and you realize that this person is in fact invisible. But with your true sight, you see them. This person is not your average looking person. There's the body and face and all of that, the same as a woman. But as soon as it gets to below the waist, her what should be legs spiral into a snake-like tail that coils around herself. And in her visible state, you see her start to move her arms. What do you do?
Can I react first?
Yes, you are explicitly.
I would like to cast Crown of Madness on her from the hand.
Okay. You can certainly
Or
try.
my bad. And she needs to make a Wisdom saving throw of 15.
Got a 17, unfortunately. Would you make that Constitution save as you cast a spell from the hand? You see her and you sling the left hand, and as you do, the sort of black veins start pumping it's like a pump, like efficient factory, as it sends this blackness throughout your veins, and you see them spread out like a tree's roots up your arms. Roll a Constitution save.
I got a 19.
I believe that passes.
Yes, it does.
That is the first.
And I'm going to shout man or woman thing over there, invisible.
And with that, the woman reveals herself for a slight second, and you all see this woman, this slender woman that leads into this snake-like tail. And as she moves her hands towards you, all of you are now encased in magical darkness. Everyone is currently cannot see at all, besides, of course, Roku, because it's the eye. It's kind of his thing. And as this happens, Roku, you look around and you see several other people emerge from their hiding places. But the rest of the party, you are now enshrouded in blackness after seeing this woman. What do you do?
Well, I let out a cry of terror. I can't see.
Gonk.
Oh,
Use some magical lights. That might work.
Use the
Rick,
cantrip.
I have a couple of things I have to do for the hand. Or the eye, my bad.
Use the cantrip light, but that won't work in magical darkness, but Gronk doesn't know that, so he's going to try it anyway.
And your hammer is still in front of you. What was that, Tom? What were you doing with the eye?
I have to make sure he doesn't take over my body, and I'm supposed to take damage for casting while still under the effects of Wish.
Sorry, no, that is only until the next long rest.
Okay, cool.
You don't take the damage anymore.
Sweet, he does not take over my body. That is all good.
It's good. Light.
I'm gonna ready my staff and take the dodge action. So attacks against me have disadvantage, but I think because of darkness they have advantage, so now they're just null.
Yep. As the lights around you go out, you hear a voice say, "Who are you? Explain your presence and you shall be spared."
We are here.
Right. Would you believe us if we told you we're lonely travelers? Because that's what we are.
I mean, technically, you're not wrong.
What is your purpose here in Sko-Tua?
I mean, as of now, it is to return to our ship, which we can no longer find.
Oh, yes. I had to, unfortunately, send the captain packing her bags. I didn't want any risk of us claiming our new territory. Now, will you impose any of that risk onto us?
Can I, with her talking, locate where she is?
Roll a perception check at disadvantage.
Can I do the same?
And can I approach her since I can see her?
I will get you
With disadvantage, that is a 10, 8. That's an 8.
I got a 16.
You guys can hear where her voice is coming from, and you assume it's down by the trail, but it's hard to locate now, like turn-wise, which way is the main trail. But you, Roku, know exactly where she stands. And as you step out of this darkness, she like moves her hand towards you and goes, "Careful now, no sudden movements."
And I'm going to unsheathe my hammer and just hold it at my side. I am Roku, son of Kord, demigod of strength and storms. Release my friends.
Fine. The darkness dissipates, and you now see around you that there are several other similarly looking snake-esque people. Two of the other ones that stand around you, sort of towards your back right and your back left, are these full-bodied, scaly people, and they have like a bit of like a flat head, and they have their tongue like sticking out. They look like a humanoid cobra. They have arms and legs and everything, but their head looks different.
Oh.
And one other has these weird tribal markings all over him, and his hair in a ponytail, because his arms themselves are a tangle of snakes. As he holds his arms at the ready, these two bundles of snakes all ready their faces towards you.
Like a Medusa
sorry.
with armpit hair.
So do any of them like look similar to like 70 with like scales in the neck? Relatively humanoid, but just sort of a smatter of scales.
If this woman wasn't half snake from the legs down, you would swear that she is related to 70.
Okay, cool.
You recognize the same sort of mannerisms, and as she notices Roku step out, and she eventually dissipates the darkness spell, she says, "The eye. Who is that from?"
70.
You killed him, no?
He deserved it.
Well, I suppose that makes you a murderer, which means you deserve it as well. But I'm not here to inflict that. There is no justice with me. I'm here to take over the land that is properly mine before anyone else gets their hands on it.
Like hell you will. And I want to like approach her. Like not slow. I'm like small walking towards her.
And she sort of raises her hand again and cocks it towards you. And she like glances to people behind you.
Right.
One step closer, and this could get a whole lot worse for you.
Yeah. Nikolai, I like seeing. I like being able to see moves. I like it.
What? I can't hear you, Gerald.
You just spelled the magic. You can see now.
Yeah, I know, but like Gronk likes that, and he's letting Ferris know that. So like, easy.
Who?
Nikolai. That's him. Nikolai. Ferris isn't here anymore.
I have come to reclaim this land for the Auntie, to start a civilization here in Convi.
Right. That doesn't include re-enslaving the slaves, does it?
I have no use for them. But what I desire most is the strongest and most worthy male to carry on my lineage. That is all I search for. And unfortunately, Sydney was that.
Well, 70's not here at the moment.
I know.
Thursday.
And as she does so, she sort of like hisses at you, and her tongue like sort of dangles out like as snakes are prone to do.
If you allow us to clear the land of slaves, and you guys could help us too. You could have all the land back that you want here.
I'll get no such thing.
Right, but if they help us ferry the slaves back to their homes.
As Nikolai's like, no such thing, and I yelled Nikolai at him. Nikolai, in your mind, you're gonna just hear Sweetie's voice. No, we're going to have them help us. They're going to get their land back. They're going to help us get the slaves. Then we can murder them all. Sweetie's not going to realize he did a fucking.
Can I respond?
Yes.
I will respond with, they die now. And I'm going to keep advancing towards the snake lady.
All right.
Sweetie,
so
you're going to look confused as fuck.
One step closer. Yeah, Sweetie, you meant to say this out loud, and your inner thoughts were projected onto Ferris. And as this happens, you get a little concerned.
Onto whom?
Onto Nikolai. And as this happens, you get a little concerned at the fact you just said a thing in your mind, but also out loud.
What the fuck?
Right, Ferris, I don't, let's ease up. Let's talk a little bit to try and find some compromises rather than guns a-blazing.
What makes you think you deserve jurisdiction over this land over me?
I don't. Nobody does. These people are free in the land. The land is theirs.
I don't care about the people. I want them gone.
Right. Nikolai, I'm not sure you understand the situation here.
I understand just fine. She's allied with Daphne, and therefore she deserves to die.
Can I see how many of these people there are? Are we like numerously outnumbered?
You are directly in like the center of her, two more behind you, a third over to like your like left area, and then you haven't seen, even with true sight, one other, but she keeps like looking off in a direction that you think there might be one looking around.
Okay, we can do that.
Right, you're looking for a mate. What if why does it have to be here? Why here?
Ferris is one of us. His land shall become ours, as it is our lineage. We have been attempting to come to Convy for years now, but we have never gotten the opportunity. But now, the land is here, and it is unknown. And if you think we are the only ones gunning for it, then you are far, far mistaken and left behind in the times. I'm assuring you that there is someone on the other edge of town right now coming to take a very, very sweet prize.
What's so special about this?
This land? It's a
wheat fields and rocks.
It's a civilization in the middle of Convy. Those are rare. People would rather huddle together in shacks than to be left out in the wild.
Why don't you guys go back over to Regni? Yeah, that continent. There's back in my day, I met up with this young T-looking fellow. Kind of looked like you. Strongest mob boss I ever met. He's the one who got me into the business. And why don't you go after him? He's the strongest man I ever met.
Are you lying?
Yes.
Okay, roll the deception check, please.
No. It's a 12, but I rolled a 2.
Okay. A natural 1 would be a failure. But she goes,
yeah.
His name was what now?
I always remembered him by Big Slither. I don't know. He told his new guys that was his name.
Big Slither, you said?
He told that to the new guys. I heard them throw around the name Alekni once. I don't remember, but this was a while ago.
Where is this man located?
Over on the continent of Regni. It's about by ship. I think it was like 2 months east.
East. Not to put you near Tritrin.
I'm sorry. I get my
Oh, no.
directions messed up.
West is Titran. I got my directions mixed up, actually. You say there's a 1T man looking to give us land?
He owned a lot of land, and I bet he'd be willing to have you guys over there. He always was talking about how much he wanted more people like him around.
Yes, it does sound like a 1T. How do I know that you are not lying to me?
I mean, I could go back home and look through all my baby pictures and all that stuff. I have some pictures with him. I could go back there and
Doesn't
look at.
he seem like a trustworthy sort? As I pat him on the back.
Roll one more deception check for me.
That's going to be a dirty 20.
That's a natural 1 on her part for an insight. All right. We will go under one condition. I need something I gave Sevny when he was young. I'm sure he kept it around. Could we go back to his house?
You can go check out his house. There were some slaves that we were going to go take care of. They tried. I think they ransacked his house. Maybe even
raised as it should have been.
Right. Actually, what object is this? What if we get it for you that way? Because they won't kill us. That way, nobody of you guys have to skirmish with slaves or anything.
It was sort of an earring. It clipped into the ear. It is a Yonti charm of sorts on written on it. Did you see that when you looted his body?
Something that clipped onto his ear. We can go check it out.
Yeah, I think I might have seen.
Can I recall what this looks like?
Yeah, you remember specifically that during the fight, 70 had something in his ear that looked like kind of like a Bluetooth headset.
Okay. Do you think from memory, because I'm level 6 now, I get one more channel divinity today. Do you think I could remember it well enough, and with the proper materials, do you think I could craft it?
Roll a history check.
Thank you.
With advantage, because you remember the specific items she mentions. You just need to learn the intricacies of it from your own depths of your mind.
Because he disintegrated, so nothing but the eye was left. So that's why I'm panicking.
Yeah, I recall.
That's a natural 20, boys. Plus, what do I have for history? +1 for history, so that's a little disappointing. But that's a 21 in total.
You remember the smallest intricacies of this device. It had a small black strap that wrapped around the ear and a small, what looked to be piece of stone that was stuck into the ear. And on it, and this is important, a small snake head caricature, basically. It's like a profile of a snake's head with the tongue sticking out. And you remember, it was carved and its coloration was a bit copper-esque. You remember it. Exactly, for some reason. Every minute, finite detail.
Right. That's great, but now I need the materials.
Actually, yeah, I think I did see that when we last visited 70. Yeah, we'll just go grab that for you quick.
Hurry. If we wish to leave soon, we should get it. And I suppose I should tell that captain of yours to cancel her trips.
What did you do with her?
I told her to go on her way. Wherever she needed to go, wherever she was waiting to go after this, she went now.
Well, I mean...
Bring her back, and we'll go grab that earring thing.
Okay.
All right. So where do you guys actually go off to?
Nikolai is like reluctant to leave because he kind of wants to kill this lady.
I'm gonna like usher him before fists are like to make sure no fists are thrown.
I was gonna try and
Dick that you have to be worried about.
Just no violence. Don't want Nikolai to end up dead too.
All right. So you kind of haul off in your own direction.
Right, guys. So this earring piece, I think I can craft it if I have an hour and I have some copper and black, whatever, and then some stone. I can recraft it in an hour. But I need those materials.
Are we just walking back to Sebney's mansion?
Because when he's disintegrated, all that was left was the eye. And I point to
keep precious materials anywhere?
Copper and stone should not be difficult. I mean, copper is found in your simple bronze coins.
And there's stones over in the quarry.
Stone is literally the ground. Leather, I don't know, what are you guys wearing?
Leather.
Oh, I'm wearing leather armor, so yeah.
It's black.
Oh yeah, because it was integrated. My leather armor is my tux, so.
Okay. Oh well, perfect. Good, you got that scrap from your clothing.
I'm going to close my tux. Oh wait, I got stabbed a little while ago, and there was a little rip in here. So I'm gonna like open up a suit coat, open up, and like on the inside there's just gonna be like a little like
just a little like dangly bit, and he just like
and just,
finish it off.
Here's a little bit of leather dangly bit.
I'll pull out some bronze coins because bronze is a form of copper. And
I scoop, and then I want to go hunt for a rock that's the right size.
Does it need to be the right size? Can't it just be like any rock?
Well, I want it to be in the. I don't want to take a rock that's the size of my head and turn it into something that can fit in my ear.
Doesn't make a difference. We don't have time to be picky.
You're gonna be cutting it off anyway.
Sure, it'll take an hour anyway, but but for like thematic purposes.
I want to be damn rock. Let's try to go.
As you walk,
while we're walking by the quarry, is there any rocks on the ground?
Yes, there are plenty. There are literally buckets, like wheelbarrows they carried up from the quarries and dumped into the grass.
Did you really just ask, are there rocks on the ground in the quarry?
No.
Well, yeah,
anyway, snag up one that I think roughly bigger than necessary because it's easy to take it off. It's hard to put more back on.
Okay. You find about the one, roughly a good skipping stone. It's like it's medium width and it's got round. It like looks to be the size of your ear, and you figure you could whittle it down to the accurate shape.
Okay. But for the next hour, guys, I'm going to be down and out of the count. So maybe try and find one of you stay here with me and help God, and others can find a panop on while we wait for Enigma.
I'm going to guard my brother.
Okay.
I assume the rest of us will go off to the whatever.
Yes, I think we should at least locate and scout the Panopticon.
And with that, I'm going to find a far-off, secluded place, and I'm going to try and recreate this little trinket deal.
All right. You sit and you take a gander at all this hodgepodge of ingredients you've gathered. You take a deep breath, and like a crafty gnome on speed, you just like start fiddling with stuff. You grind out this rock and you sand away the edges. You don't just like break it. And while there is no specific divine intervention, it is as if you are omnipotent in how to craft this design. You have the outline of it, just like you can see it. You just have to slowly file away the edges as you and you take a nice little like sharpened nail and you carve in to this piece an exact replica and this inlay that matches into the indent. And after about an hour, you are pretty confident this is what you saw in 70's ear. Now, for the rest of you, you all go past the burnt down remnants of the manor, which you now see for the first time. The 4 columns outside of his house, one of them is laying horizontally, the rest are disappeared, and the mansion itself is collapsed into wood and debris and ash. And as you stand near the steps of it, you see past it, about 100 yards, there is a Colosseum-esque building. It is completely circle and stone on all sides, looking very ominous on a hill. You assume.
How tall is it?
How tall is it?
Yeah.
It's like several stories tall. It's not skyscraper tall. It's probably about 40 feet.
All right. Are there any are there any handholds, footholds that I can use to scale the wall?
The building itself has like smooth stone horizontally around it, every like assumingly story. But besides that, the walls are inlaid with rocks, like that looks to be loose rocks, and you think you might be able to scale by grabbing onto these different rocks.
I'm gonna scale it, and then when I get to the top, just give it a little.
All right. Roll an athletics check to see how well you can climb this.
Athletics check. That is athletics 17.
Okay. You guys all see as Nikolai just sort of looks at his own hands, then looks at the rocks, and he kind of grabs onto one, grabs onto another, and you think he's crazy by they are stuck in the wall, but you don't see handholds in these things. So you scale it. He sort of props his feet up and gets the weirdest amount of leverage from nothing as he pulls himself up, and you see his finger. The finger strength on this guy is insane as he manages to hold himself up with just this. As he makes his way to the top, and you glance, and it is actually a smooth, enclosed area. Like it has a roof, so you cannot see what is inside of the Panopticon.
I want to climb up, pull myself up onto the roof.
You get up on this hot steel roof, and there's...
The roof is steel?
Yes.
Okay. Are there, what's the, it's just flat, smooth metal. Were there any windows on the side that I noticed when I climbed up?
There is, you sort of take this time to look down the sides, and there is, on the back side, these 2 metal doors with these large handles, but there is no windows that you see of any kind.
Okay. Oh, you said it's about 40 feet high?
Mm-hmm.
All right. One sec. I have to quick math. All right, cool. And I'm just gonna jump off the top.
Okay. You hit the ground. Do you take fall damage?
No, I don't think so, because it's 1d6 per 10 feet, right?
Yeah.
So the maximum would be 6 times 4, which is less than 30, and I reduced it by 30 points, so I don't take any fall damage.
Okay. Yeah, you just immediately just land.
You guys notice as I fall, it's sort of like the same concept as dropping a feather, but not I just the wind seems to catch me more than it should, and I descend gracefully. There's a scene in, I believe, the final Harry Potter book where Lily Potter as a child is described as falling from a swing just a little bit too slow to be natural. Like something just seems a little off about it, and it's like that when I hit the floor. Despite having just yeeted myself off a 40-foot building.
You sort of glide down like a piece of paper or a feather and sort of like land with like no thump or foot noise. You just kind of like
There's just a little
touch down on it. Yep. And all of you see this. And you are now staring at the panopticon that is feared by so many.
So what was up there?
There does not appear to be a way in on top. No windows. The roof is solid steel.
How solid is steel? Can we cut through it?
Steel. Do you have anything that can be cut through steel?
I have fire. We can heat up the steel and then cut it.
How hot? I don't know how many times I have said this during D&D.
I know.
You know how hot you have to get steel to melt it. I mean, we have a forge master right here. He can tell you it's hotter than you can get with campfire.
We could fly a plane into it.
No, Jeff, you won't burn through the steel beams.
Well, we have two guys who can forge pretty well. If they both just make it really, really hot, and so it's like malleable, not necessarily melted, but like malleable, and then we can just kind of like poke all the sides with
a hammer or something. That
exactly.
Might be doable. Can we get all of you up top? Life at sea, and it's given me a fairly athletic build, and climbing is in my nature. I don't know about Big Boy over here, and I gesture to Roku, especially not in his current state.
Roku grunts and starts walking around the circumference, trying to look through the walls.
This
can do that.
This is almost too thick to see. Almost. As you peer through, you expect to see another sheet of lead, when in fact your eyes peer through just fine. Directly on the other side of this wall is a hunched over snake figure staring directly at you. It doesn't know you're there, but it is staring at the wall in just the right angle that it is.
That is unsettling.
In front of your face. I will show you a quick picture of one of these things.
It's very unsettling.
It looks to be in a cage of some sort, as if the cages surround the outside of the circle. But
does he look like? Is he a prisoner?
This being seems to stare you in the face with its tongue out, and it's brooding over. Like, and you both make eye contact, him unknowingly for a moment, and you look past it, and you see a guard tower in the center. But unfortunately, your vision is limited to that, as it is too far away.
Roku, can you see through the building?
Yes, there's a prisoner. Do I see any more prisoners?
This
is assumedly a prisoner.
Assumedly, yes. You see about 5 or 6 other people in these cages on the ground floor, and from what you can see on the top, like the higher up floors, it's 4 rows of cells horizontally, and there doesn't seem to be any other prisoners, but there's 5 on this like ground floor, and they are all hunched over beasts of sort of serpentine origin.
The front door, where was it?
Can I see it?
The front door?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a round back. Nikolai actually spotted it when he was up at the top.
Right, perfect. Oh, my bad. There's 5 beasts in there.
Were they prisoners or guards?
They looked pretty feral, but I think they're prisoners.
I think we might be able to get up top. You can climb pretty well. We have Hogar over here who can climb up with his boots.
Hogar stuck
Hogar's
around
with Gronk
when they made their.
Hogar over back with Gronk. He has these special boots. He could climb up the side and then drop the boots down. It might take a little bit, but then next guy could use the boots, climb up.
Attune, walk, drop. Attune, walk, drop.
It might take a little bit, but we can get up there. And especially if we're going to get up there like this, I feel like we won't have to go through any extra things. We can just get into the center fight this guy and not have to deal with any of his lesser guards. I feel like
if this place is as dangerous as they make it out to be, I think literally getting the drop on them and being immediately at the top of the tower could be helpful.
exactly.
Let's go tell the others.
Yes, we should probably tell the others. We also need to make contact with Enigma. Relay the plan and tell her to return to Waterfront.
First, we need to get rid of those Wanti guys. And I think I should be the one to hand over that earring thing. Because
yes, you seem to be the most competent liar out of us.
Thank you.
I mean that both in the most sincere and most insulting way possible.
I understand.
I would hope so. Roku, are you good to walk? I know it's physically right now you're not your best.
Wave him off. I'm fine. Clearly tired.
It's like when coach asks you if you want to get pulled and you're like, no, it's great.
Doing good.
Do you make your way back to where Gronk and Hogar left off?
Yes. Yeah.
You walk back past the ruins of 70s Manor, and as you do, Gronk and Hogar, you are actually drawn there, for you are doing this in like some sort of alleyway, and there is just as you finish up, there's a sort of commotion behind you, and you see a lot of people moving from your right to your left, and where you're standing, they're moving towards the center of town in front of 70s old manor.
Do we get to them in the alley?
Yes. But as you do, you all sort of see this commotion reaching in the center of town.
I brandish what is essentially my broken broom handle. Would that get the stats for quarterstaff, or would that be like club?
Sure. I'll take it.
Okay, cool.
Man.
Can I hear what these people are like talking about, or like are essentially rioting, or what's the gathering about?
Immediately, as you take a turn, you look towards the center of town, and there are two specific. There's a group of figures standing on the steps of Sweetie's fallen manor, and as well as
he has a manor.
Let's go.
70s fallen manor. And as you do, you take a glance behind you, and the Yanti are actually here as well in this commotion. Immediately, as you step out, you see a small dwarven man. He has this like red hair tucked back into a bun, and as he does, he has other warriors with him, most of which are what you assume Goliath or just very, very big humans, but all of them share a similar quality. They have black armor, either whether it is plate or even leather. It is dyed black in some way, and all of them have a bit of exposed arms. You see a bunch of tattoos running up both sides of their arms and their neck. But as you look even further, these are what look to be tattoos, but also very clearly burns, as the scar tissue has formed these sort of like pictures of fires and whatnot. And this dwarven man and these two other people that hold pitons with torches coming out of them stand on 70s Manor. But the dwarf seems to be the only one talking, as he is yelling and pointing his finger at the other group of people, which stands a pale man in full armor, and he seems to have a scythe in his hands. He has like black hair that's kind of like up and drooped to the side, but he stands in front of a group of mixed races of people, but he sort of stands there in a sort of cocky way and yells back at this dwarven man. And the Yanti as well are pushing past this crowd to get up to those three. When as well you notice out of the crowd, Big with his one arm and sledgehammer, two starts yelling at this group.
Can we hear what they're saying?
Yes. It all equates to one thing. Who gets Sko-Tua as their own? As they all start yelling at one another, the dwarven man says, We have kept the mountains safe from every threat across the land. The least you could do is give us this territory, a land we've watched over as our own, from the Rising Sun Company and the invaders from the Platinum City. We are as much of our heir to Sko-Tua as those Yuan-Ti are. And the Yuan-Ti step forward and say, No, 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 I am Sevni's own mother. I deserve this land more than anyone.
Is this the lady that was like, I want to bang this dude?
Yes. The lady, the same Yuan-Ti lady. As
I'm uncomfy.
As the human leader with the scythe over his shoulder goes, now listen, lady, all right? I'm not here to bargain. I'm here to take. And you, whatever the hell you are, this is our land now. Survival of the fittest, and the fittest is me and us. And he gestures to his group of friends. What looked to be a dragonborn, a red dragonborn, a halfling, and a lizard folk, something you don't see very often. And then
Jared perked up.
and then finally, Big steps forward and says, This is disgusting. We have worked our entire lives on this land. Most of us given our lives for this land. It is ours now that our oppressors are gone. And then the man with the scythe clearly states, You're oppressed? Most of you are here because you're criminals. You, Catman, why are you here? Huh? Tell the crowd, why are you here? It is not important. Now we rule the land as... No. You're avoiding the question. Tell them why you're here. I made a mistake a long time ago. And there the truth comes out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're supposed to give this land to these slaves who all put themselves here on purpose? Or how about these incestuous lizard folk? Are they really the ones? And basically, this just keeps going on. And you do see that even with the lizard folk in his party, he refers to the snake people as lizard folk as opposed to Yuan-Ti, showing his general arrogance and like unwillingness.
Casual racism.
Yeah.
Not active racism, but like casual racism.
Right. And I'm going to turn to the group with my back to them. Are we going to handle this? Or...
So I'm not brave enough for politics.
Here, give me the earring. Let me go up there.
Yeah, I'm not. I hate to say it, but I don't feel like dealing with this.
Well, I don't want to get particularly involved, but for the good of the people of Sko-Tua, we could at least, if we deliver this earring, then the snake people said they would be on their way. The sooner they're gone, the better, the scum.
Or we could let them kill each other and kill who's left.
Right, but
terrible idea.
What if the slaves die in the process?
They don't have to fight.
They damn well will.
Looks like they're about to.
Yeah, this is
give
like...
me this earring. I'm going to extend my hand.
And I give him the earring, and I say, don't say anything that would incriminate us as on anybody's side. Remain neutral at all costs.
I want to go up with him as like physical protection, just in case something terrible happens, because Sweetie's kind of a wimp.
Thank you. I mean, I can punch someone if I need to.
Yeah, but I guarantee I can punch him better.
Figure of our party.
I'm back here with a bow.
You push through people's legs, and Nikolai, you're forced to like dodge them through the crowd as you all walk up. And this four-way fight that is going on, each with their own like separate cronies backing them. The slaves significantly outnumber anyone else, but they look severely weaker. Push your way through, and finally step up with the monocle in hand. And just at the time, you hear the Yuan-Ti lady goes, "And these folk, do they speak for you? They claimed I could not have this land on threat of murder. They are the ones who killed Sevni." At this point, you get the man with the scythe's attention. Sevni? You guys killed Sevni?
No. Technically, and I gesture towards the minute. They did. I was a prisoner at the time.
Anyways, this land's ours, little one. We're claiming it now. And no.
Who are you exactly?
Completely untrue. This land belongs to the Fire Guard.
Everyone, shut up! You, who are you? And I'm going to point to the guy with the sickle scythe thing, the slick back hair, the pretentious dick.
Human.
Yeah, that guy.
Dante Graves, leader of the Rising Sun Company.
I tighten my grip on my whacking stick.
Okay, and why do you think you deserve this land?
Because I'll take it.
That's not what I asked. Why do you deserve it?
Because I'll.
What have you done in this area? What have you done in this area to make this rightfully yours?
I've gone around accruing power with me and my friends here. We want a home base. Decided to establish.
Theoretically, if they could stop you from taking it, you would have no ownership.
Well, I guess we'll have to try. And he unsheathes his scythe right now, and that immediately the dwarven guy pulls out a crossbow, the one T just starts casting spells.
Wait. Stop this. This is unnecessary. Stop. Put your stuff down. Okay.
Everyone very much continues to point their weapons at one another.
Okay, you Mr. Human guy. If you were to take power, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying if you were to take power, just kind of like shushing the other two while I'm saying this, or other three, I guess. If you were to take power, what would you do with this land? Would you make homes and jobs for these people? What would you do?
Is why the hell you're the mediator for all of this? You killed 70.
Because I don't.
Welcome person here. The snake lady goes, I agree 100%. The slave goes, now wait just a minute. He is our savior to our people. The fire god goes, oh yes, I agree. He has done nothing to show his credentials for this. He's practically a stranger. In fact, he is a stranger. Who are you?
I am Bartholomew Rivas. Now you're going to listen to me. I am going to be the one who settles this, because if not, you're all just going to end up killing yourselves over each other. Snake Lady, I know you own this land, whatever, you're his mother, you want to bang him, whatever you want to do with him, don't care. You
I
own
do not
this land,
come into your land and make
someone
fun of your customs. I do not want to hear this.
I'm giving you a better option, and as someone who would be much more willing to have you.
Which I was willing, but if I leave, these people threaten what is rightfully mine. And I cannot leave if this dwarf or this bastard child.
The guy that I'm telling you about owns more land, and it's better for your people.
I'm sick of you, little one. Tell them to back down or get away so we can start settling this like adults. These magic starts emanating from her hands.
Dwarf, you own the mountains, right?
I do not own them. I've fought for them for generations. The Fire Guard are the toughest warriors around, and we are no doubt going to show that in this intense battle. There's not just three of us. We have many waiting in the wings. Oh, and you...
So where's your land?
Many waiting in the wings, the snake person retorts.
Where is your land, Mr.
We reside in the mountains, and we wish to expand.
You can't expand. Now, human, if you were to own this land, what would you do with these people?
I don't know. That's none of your business, personally. Why are you even here again? Can we all just agree to kill him? The fire guard goes, I'd take it. The snake lady goes, yes, he's done nothing but trouble me. And then the slave guy goes, no, this is... Wow, this is really confusing to try to run by her.
Yep.
Dancing bear. No, he is too valuable to our people. He helps us. He helped us to destroy who you hold dear. He sticks with us.
Okay. So what I'm getting here is y'all want this land. Y'all want to make it. Why don't we just split it 4 ways, and then we all get everyone gets part of their land. Y'all can have your own little governing body.
In unison go, no.
That makes sense. What if, dwarf, you can have the entire mountain range, all yours.
It's already mine.
Thankful. You can keep it.
The fire guard take by force. We will show the world of our incredible strength. We are the correct way to start a society. We are.
And when you show the world your force, you're all gonna get killed.
There is no need for all of this bloodshed.
The dwarf points his weapon towards Sweetie.
I say, good. Each of you present a single champion. That way, it is still taken by tradition by force of will, and the winner, they get the land. And personally, I fight for them, and I nod my head towards Big.
It's funny that you say that because actually, as mediator to this whole thing, you're your own separate group. I don't think you can the slaves.
Actually, since we are the saviors of what used to be slaves, I think we're as a group, along with Big. So, Nikolai, thank you.
Do not fight for me, young one. I can do it myself. This is my battle to win.
Right, can Gronk hear all this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Right, technically speaking, that guy, and I point to Roku, is a slave.
As am I.
Shh, Ferris.
His name's not Ferris.
Damn it! I hate you.
Wouldn't nominate the guy with a 3 for strength to be fighting for anyone.
Right now.
Why do we have to do it now?
Why do we have to do it right now?
They don't seem keen on waiting.
And even then, I'll disintegrate them all.
What if we wait like 2 days? You guys can prepare your warriors or whatever, like get them extra prepared for murder, death, winning, takeover. And then, yeah.
Whoever wins gets this land. So, slaves are going to stay here. If the dwarves lose, they go back to their mountains. If the Auntie lose, they go back over to wherever they're from, or they go meet Mr. Slibs. I forget his real name. That's what they call him. His name always slips me.
The big tabaxi looks to you and goes, as much as I appreciate what you've done, this is not your battle to officiate. This is mine. If you wish to fight, it is not on behalf of I.
This is unnecessary bloodshed is what this is.
With all due respect, Big, anything you have endured, I have as well. By 70's hand himself. I've suffered by their hand just as much as you.
Then you should know that I take this personally. You don't speak for me. These men do not speak for me. I will be representing the slaves in the fight. If they want to continue telling people how to rule their lands, they can get their own champion. But it is I who will fight.
Fine then. We'll have our own stake and I'll fight for us.
All right, sounds good. Are we still waiting on that prep time, or are we just that gung-ho that we're gonna do it now like a bunch of goddamn animals?
Who's your representatives for the fight?
I will represent the Fire Guard, the dwarf says. I don't know. We'll figure it out, says the guy with the scythe. As he looks, he only has 3 other people with him, so he's kind of like, they all kind of shrug, like, I'll do it if you. And then, I don't know. And
I'm sorry, but everyone here kind of has their groups they're fighting for. May I ask why the hair? Why do you want this land? There's 4 of you.
Yeah, I don't know. Aren't we doing?
I'm sorry. What was your name again? What's
Dante.
your group?
Dante Graves with the Rising Sun Company. We're doing exactly.
That's what I thought.
We're showing up, we're killing people, and we're trying to take it over. I honestly don't see how I'm different from you.
What I did was I was on a mission to save someone. We did that, and now we're trying to save a nation from killing each other. I don't think you really have a place here.
I'm on a mission to save a nation from killing each other as well. So why don't you step down, little one?
Who are you trying to save?
Now's not the time to get into this. Move
who
on.
Respects this man? I'm going like football dogs.
Quit talking to me right now. The dwarf. I've been waiting to kill this one. He looks to you, sweetie. Yeah, I could go without him. The snake person says as they all ready their weapons towards you.
Okay, now the attention's on me. Good. Why? You guys all want this land so bad. Why? Yeah, sure. You want it because it's your privilege. You want it because you're a murderous fuck who just wants to murder everyone. You want this because you live in the
sweetie, that's enough of that. And I'm going to scoop up Sweetie and carry him away.
Good idea. Good job. Thank you for babysitting your little one. Now,
"Oh, we're not done with you yet, fuckhead." And then
As far as champions go, we have our 2 days to pick. So we'll meet here then. And everyone sort of like chills the fuck out and looks around and walks off on their own distinct.
Wait, are we still like relative? Am I still relatively there?
I mean, you got pulled out.
You're being
Gronk.
carried away.
Damn it, I was going to do something.
You should have done it.
I was going to slam the earring down on the box, shattering it.
What would that have accomplished?
I have no idea.
Besides making her angry.
Yeah,
as more angry than she already is.
As everyone universally hates Sweetie, he is carried away from the argument and this notion of a challenge in 2 days to see who gets control over the land. We zoom out and we see the large crowd dispersing in 5 distinct directions. And that is where we will pick up next time on Dungeons and Dragons.